This is the Patriots Catch-22 podcast with Evan Lazar and Alex Barth.
I'm Evan Lazar. Lazar.
Hello, everybody.
Nailed it. Joined as always by our Barth. That's a fit. That's a match.
No risk it, no biscuit.
22.
Here is Evan Lazar and Alex Barth.
Coaches universally agree with the notion that McDaniel's calling games to win them. He understands situational football, and that's not always the case with some elite play callers. That right there, the situational element of it, that these other guys still can't do and frankly don't seem interested in learning.
You say
Is
this for
such
2
a
hours
major,
into the show?
I didn't see this quote until right now. Is such a major advantage for the Patriots. That McDaniel's understanding of situational football, it shouldn't be. Anybody who's calling plays in the NFL should understand situational football, but they don't. That is such a major advantage for the Patriots.
22.
Ooh, is your head still spinning? My head's spinning a little bit.
I'm still playing catch up here.
Hi. Hello, everybody. Yeah, this has been a fun day, but this was a busy day, guys. There was a lot going on. It's Evan, it's Alex, it's Matt behind the glass, Marine producing Catch-22 today. It's a little bit of a change up. We let Ace off the hook. He's got Revs tonight, I think. I think he's going to be here late, so Marine's taking over, but wow, yeah, that was a lot. That was a busy day out there. A lot of competitive periods, offense, defense, split field coming together at the end, similar to the script that they had last week with the Colts. But it was coming in hot. It was coming in fast. Obviously, some big storylines from both sides. You know, A.J. Brown returning, or whatever you want to call it, going up against his old team. So we're going to break it all down, guys. I mean, there's a lot to discuss. I think my big picture, we always start big picture on this show, and then we go zoom in slowly but surely. My opening take, Alex, on that joint practice was I immediately thought yesterday to myself about the practice we watched 2 years ago in 2024 when the Eagles came here and A.J. Brown was on the other side and Milton Williams was on the other side, and the Eagles came in here and absolutely put a hurting on the 2024 Patriots. And it was a reality check. It was a wake-up call. It was a, this might not go so hot for the Patriots this year. The Eagles, if I have my years correctly, and my head is spinning a little bit, they won the Super Bowl that year, correct?
Yeah, because that was the Mayo year.
Yeah, they won the Super Bowl. So we were watching the Super Bowl champions practice against a team that picked fourth overall.
Fired its coach and won 4 games and fired its coach.
Yeah, right. So it was telling. The best, most positive compliment I can give the Patriots today is that they more than held their own today against the Eagles. And it's just a cool juxtaposition of how far they've come in just 2 years under Mike Vrabel, that they went from the most one-sided joint practice I have ever seen in my time covering the team in 2024 against the Eagles to 2 years later. If you're into the sort of did they win practice, not win practice thing, you could at least say that the Patriots held their own against a really good Eagles team.
Specifically, and I know we'll get into some of the specifics a little bit, but I just think it's worth mentioning off that take. The big thing that day, it wasn't just that the Eagles looked so much better than the Patriots. It was the way the Eagles' defensive front just beat up on the Patriots' offensive line. I remember because everybody wanted to know. I think
that was varsity against JV.
I think that was their first joint practice of the year, and everybody wanted to know, what is Drake May going to look like against another defense? And we had to come in and be like, we don't know. Like, he didn't have time to throw the ball. Like, we have no clue what he would have looked like. There was no time to read or set his feet or anything. I would say, Evan, and it wasn't definitive by any means. It wasn't as dominant as that. I don't know that it could be. But I would say the Patriots' offensive line had the edge against the Eagles' defense. Now, there was some back and forth in that, and it's slight. You know, and if you wanted to say the Eagles had their moments, we go back and forth. But yeah, like specifically, the thing that always stands out to me again about that practice is literally May and Jacoby Brissett having to like turn and run as soon as they got the ball on every single snap. And today I thought there was one kind of jailbreaky pressure on Drake May, which against that front is going to happen. Besides that, He had time. It wasn't 5 seconds every play, but it was competitive. He had as much time as you could realistically want.
Yeah, so that was where my eyes were, as you probably could have guessed without me telling you. They were on the trenches all day today, both offensive and defensive lines for the Patriots, vice versa for the Eagles. And my biggest takeaway going into the practice was I think the Patriots' pass protection on offense has been pretty solid all summer long. I think Drake May's had clean pockets, and I thought he had clean pockets against the Colts in the joint practice last week, and in the 10 Patriots practices, I thought that he had clean pockets, padded practices. I thought he's had clean pockets as well, but I was looking at it and saying, I don't know how great the Patriots pass rushers are, to be frank.
Right.
And we'll get to that in a little bit here. And it was only one-off practice against the Colts, who have DeForest Buckner and Grover Stewart, and Latu's a nice player, and Key, and have some guys, but it's not the Eagles. It's not Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis and Hunt and Nolan Smith, and they didn't even have Jonathan Grenard out there today, and they still have a bunch of dudes. My big thing going into the practice was, could the Patriots offensive line hold up against the Eagles defensive front? If I saw that from the Patriots offensive line, I was going to be really, really encouraged. And
they certainly held up.
I thought they held up. Now, was it one-sided either direction? No, I think it was pretty split. It was a pretty even draw, which I will take.
We say in the one-on-ones, or I know you, I think, actually do ties. I say with the one-on-ones, ties goes to the offense. If you lose, but you lose slowly, and realistically, like the quarterback would have time to get rid of the ball, that's a win. Even if you maybe get beat, if you make the guy work for it and you buy time, I think that's really all you can do. So tie, I think, goes to the offense in this case.
Yeah, so I was encouraged by the pockets that Drake May had. There was one play in particular that I thought really stood out to me. He had A.J. Brown on to his right. He had Romeo Doubs outside to his left. They both ran double moves, like little stutter and goes or out and ups down the sideline, both vertical routes. There was a single high safety in the middle of the field, man-to-man coverage on Doubs and Brown. He had time to look the safety off. He stared down the right side of the field to A.J. Brown, moved the safety to the right side of the field, then came back left to Doubs and threw one over Tariq Woolen and Romeo Doubs down the left sideline for a deep completion. If you don't have time in the pocket, you don't have time to look off a safety, right? Like that's that whole kind of sequence there just doesn't play out as smoothly as it did. So I was encouraged by that. I thought they ran the ball a little bit today. Not, as Vrabel says, not a ton of X plays, not a ton of big chunks on the ground, but they were able to grind out some dirty yards. It's hard against Jordan Davis and Zach Bond and Carter and those guys to really run the ball in this Eagles defense. Like, they don't give up a lot of yards on the ground. So to at least get some 4, 5, 6 yard runs, mostly by Ramondre Stevenson, I thought was encouraging as well. So that's where I would start. I think the Patriots offense, through the joint practice with the Colts, the practice that they had internally on Monday was a really, really good Drake May practice. And now the practice today, they're kind of on a roll offensively in practice, for what it's worth. But I think the offense looks really, really good. Defensively, just moving over to the other side of the ball, and then we'll get into individual players. Defensively, I thought early on in the practice, the Eagles ran the ball pretty well. I thought Saquon Barkley, but even Shipley, who I always liked, a kid out of Clemson. He had a good practice today. Yeah, I thought he ran the ball pretty well too. Shipley, it was more those Kenneth Walker bounce outside kind of runs that we saw in the Super Bowl. Saquon, it was more, Saquon patience through the middle of the field. Classic Saquon Barkley, right up the gut. Jalen Hurts also kept on a read option play that was really similar to the one Richardson got them on in the preseason game last week. So I thought the run game for Philly was pretty good. They hit a big play down the field to Dontavian Wicks as well in the opening period.
Did you think that was that the one where like Byard was the closest guy, but he wasn't? That was a coverage bust, right?
Maybe. I
was trying to figure out what happened. That was kind of like the one big negative play.
Yeah,
for the defense
Byard was up top
game.
for sure, and I thought that Byard was tracking it, and I thought he was going to pick it.
He actually closed the gap pretty well. When the ball was thrown, Wicks was all alone.
Yeah, and then and Wicks made the play on the ball at the catch point. So I thought early on, some of the team periods, the Eagles offense made some plays, especially in the run game. Yeah. But as each kind of team period passed, I thought the Patriots defense got a couple stuffs in the run game in the second, like, kind of run early down team period. And then in the 1 minute drill at the end of practice, it was pressure right on Jalen Hurts, really getting home with some of those blitzes. How, starting just with the, concerns, where's your temperature right now with the run defense? Because I think it's been a little bit leaky.
Well, it's been weird because they've been really good when it's just Patriots versus Patriots.
Yeah.
And then the Patriots come out in these joint practices and run the ball well. So it's like, okay, like the Patriots are running well against other teams, but they're not running well against their own defense. And these other teams have good run defenses, the Colts and the Eagles. So you think, okay, the Patriots' run defense is probably pretty good. Now, they've also faced Saquon Barkley and all that's around him, and Jonathan Taylor and all that's around him. To answer the question, Evan, I don't know. It's been very confusing. It's been a very confusing summer for the run defense. I came in worried a little bit just because I think the loss of Kyrus Tonga was, significant. So I guess I'll kind of go with my gut. They've looked better for most of the summer, but the high impact practices haven't been as impressive.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I feel like this was a little bit like this last summer too, that they struggled with run defense and then they figured it out for the regular season. And then obviously Seattle got them on the ground in the Super Bowl. So, who was that, a one-off against Seattle, or was that kind of the real run defense, is a fair question. I think the thing that stood out to me today, though, with the run defense is there was a lot of runs with Saquon right up the gut. And I wonder, no Barmore yet in some of those run periods.
Right, he really only did like third down pass stuff.
Milton Williams is out there, Joshua Farmer, Corey Durden. Like, those are the players that are playing inside right now for the Patriots. We all know that Milton Williams is a stud. They did host an interesting visit yesterday with Daquan Jones, who is a former tight end, former Vrabel tight end, has played a lot of nose tackle for Mike Vrabel in the past. I just, putting two and two together, they were a little leaky in the run game against the Colts, both in the game and in the joint practice. They were a little leaky today in the run game defensively against the Eagles. Is Daquan Jones on this roster by Monday? Are we headed to that direction? Is something that popped up in my head just watching the practice.
It's just weird because we thought defensive tackle was a strength of theirs, even without Tonga.
Yeah. Right now, I feel good about Barmore and Williams, and honestly, Durden I think is okay, but
I mean, like, Farmer's having a nice summer. How many defensive tackles do you think they really want to rotate through?
I would say probably four.
Four
or five if you can get to five.
If you keep Farmer as the fifth guy and he's kind of extra depth developmental, I think if Jones is that third guy over Durden, it slots everybody in a lot more naturally. I don't think it's a bad group right now. This would be a luxury signing. I don't think they need Daquan Jones to be like a really good team, but he'd certainly make them better.
Yeah.
If there is an edge equivalent of Daquan Jones, I'd rather have that player. I don't think there is anymore. So, like, I see the picture. I don't think it's their biggest need. I think they're okay, but I can definitely see like why they would add him and what his role would be. I thought I don't know if you want to get to the other one here too, or if we're going to jump around. The Shaq Thompson one. Now, I don't know where Shaq Thompson's at. He was actually better for the Bills last year than I realized.
Yeah.
Just watching some stuff back yesterday, but that one too, like, I think they have more of a need at linebacker than they do at defensive tackle, but
maybe it is line,
and maybe it's both. Maybe they can add both.
We're watching the run game in practice, and just like to be honest about it, there's a lot of bodies in there.
Yeah.
So like, is the defensive line getting moved? Are the linebackers not coming down? Are they not fitting the gaps? What that type of stuff can be hard.
And they can add both. I would say that I think at this point in their careers, Daquan Jones is probably a better player than Shaq Thompson, but I think Shaq Thompson actually helps the Patriots more as they're currently constructed.
Well, sir, definitely if Chad Muma is hurt in that
even
situation.
More so, yeah.
I think he was out there today, wasn't he? I saw 49 coming up the hill.
I believe so,
I didn't see him a ton in the drills, but I saw him at practice, physically at practice. Just, something I thought of just watching Barkley crease them a couple of times today. It seemed like a lot of those runs were coming up the middle. Obviously not so much towards Milton Williams, but towards some of the depth guys that are filling in for Barmore and things like that. Let's, one more thing on the defense, and then let's get into some individual players and what we saw today. I did not expect Elijah Ponder and Draymond Jones to do a lot against Jordan Mailata and Lane Johnson.
Yeah.
But that was a decisive victory for Jordan Mailata and Lane Johnson. One-on-ones, team, what have you, I thought the Patriots edge rushers were nowhere near the quarterback. And that is something that we all have concerns about, I think.
Yeah.
Are they going to get enough juice off the edge? Is Akis going to pick it up quickly enough to be an impactful player as a rookie, as a pass rusher? I think we've seen some flashes, but we need to see more out of him. It was a lot of ponder in Draymond Jones. I think Draymond Jones is a guy that's going to be, he's going to put quarterbacks in the trash compactor, and he's going to push the pocket, and he's going to bull rush. He's going to be effective on stunts. But I still felt like, we can give them some flowers on the fact that when they blitzed, it seems like those blitzes were getting home at will against the Eagles today. But when they had to go to those standard 4-man rushes, that's when it got a little bit more dicey in terms of getting pressure on the quarterback. Vrabel said the same thing about the Colts practice last week, that they didn't affect the quarterback enough. They didn't pressure the quarterback enough. And that's why Daniel Jones had success in that practice. So a little bit of the same, I would say, in terms of that. Now, I give them the caveat, this is maybe the best offensive line in football that they face today. If it's not the best, it's top 5. So the fact that their edge rushers, which we know are a little bit of a weaker position group for the Patriots, did not beat maybe the best left tackle and right tackle in football, certainly the best tandem in the league, is probably how it should have gone. But, that's how it went. That's what we saw out there. So I was encouraged by the fact that their blitz scheme seemed to really hit when they ran those, especially in that final 1-minute drill for Jalen Hurts. But when they just rushed 4 and tried to get home with a standard 4-man rush, they had a lot of time back there, the Eagles quarterbacks.
Isn't that kind of what we think they're going to be?
It is. Well, if it is, that's what you're going to be, Alex, and you better pay the cornerback.
Yeah, I mean, yes.
You better get Gonzo back on the field.
I will say, these 2 joint practices have been... Christian Gonzalez is watching from up in that new building, probably,
He's going into the team meeting to watch
good.
film after practice, and he's like...
He's not on the field, but these have been decisive wins for Christian Gonzalez. But I don't know. It's not... You'd rather be able to get pressure with 4, certainly. I don't think that's particularly how they're built. Now we'll see when Landry gets back. I do think Akis had a couple moments.
I did too.
They might have been against the second team. I was mostly watching the offense. I just kind of looked at the defense.
It's not
when it was in between plays.
He's not a quick winner because he doesn't win with speed.
Right.
But he gets he impacts the quarterback. He can impact
the quarterback. Yeah. So was that against Mailata, or was that against?
I want to say it was the second team, but I saw him flash a couple of times.
There were a couple times that that's kind of the thing, I guess, if you're looking... I don't want to say if you're looking for hope, because that sounds maybe more dramatic than it is, but if you're looking for the pass rush group to surprise, said by somebody who's been kind of down on them since really the spring.
Yep.
Gabe Akis continues to flash, and maybe he ends up being more of an impact player right away than was expected.
I hope
especially after he missed all that time in the spring.
I think they need him to be.
So, that's what you're looking for. Like, short of that, they can get pressure when they blitz. And some of these, they're doing some fun stuff with that.
Yeah.
Like, some of the stuff that Zach Core is drawing up, and I'm sure Vrabel and all of them are a part of it, Terrell Williams, but, I think they're going to be an effective blitz team. Having to live in that versus having it as an option are 2 different things. And it does kind of feel like it's leaning towards they're going to have to live in that. I don't know if they're going to have the highest blitz rate in the NFL this year. Probably top 5, certainly top 10, I think is what we're trending towards. So they're better when they do it. And if you're going to live that way, you'd better be able to pressure when you blitz. I go back to the Mayo year when they called it Engage 8 and still did not get pressure.
Against the Rams.
That was the Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp. That's, you have, because it's not that, Craig Woodson, I believe, had 1 or 2 pressures today.
Yeah.
Marcus Jones had one. You have to have guys from the second level, third level, that know what to do when they blitz. Just because they blitz doesn't mean they're going to get pressure. They have to know what to do. I do think they have that. I think you saw that today. That's more of a silver lining than hey, this is great, because they're still not getting pressure with 4. So we'll see what ultimately happens there. But all signs point towards... this is going to be blitz them early, blitz them often kind of defense.
So last thing on that, just as a way to kind of a good example from today's practice on sort of the give and take with blitzing, or, giveth, taketh away, I guess I should say. So they got a lot of pressure on Jalen Hurts in that 1-minute drill. It was 3 blitzes in a row, and all 3 of them got home. earlier on in the practice, they sent Robert Spillane up the middle on a blitz, and they dropped Elijah Ponder out into coverage. We see that it's a replacement pressure. It's pretty common pressure in the NFL. You blitz the off-ball linebacker.
The Brian Flores special, right?
You blitz the off-ball linebacker, you drop the edge out. Well, in this instance, Shipley ran a wheel route out of the backfield. And he ended up getting matched up against Ponder on a wheel route out of the backfield.
It's a tough matchup.
And he beat Ponder for a huge play.
Yeah.
And so that's when you blitz, that's what happens, right? Like you're going to make some plays, but you're also going to give up some plays. And that's why a lot of teams, really try to be able to be an effective 4-man rush team, is because you want to be a little bit more stable. Now, I will say, I don't think the Patriots are going to have to heat up bad quarterbacks. Like, I think the Patriots can probably play a little bit more conservatively against certain teams.
They don't
on
play
their
a lot
schedule.
of bad quarterbacks this year.
They play enough. They play enough.
Well, it's the NFL.
They play
some.
4 games against the Jets and the Dolphins.
Fair.
That's enough of those. Those games, I think that you're going to be able to play a more conventional, less aggressive branded defense. The question is going to be, is against the good teams, right? Like against the Bills and against the Seahawks and against the Lions and against the Broncos and teams like that. Let's go individual player. Let's start with Drake May, who, it's always difficult, I'd say, in these practices to gauge pressure. Like, would it have been a sack? Would it not have been a sack? But I thought for the most part, Drake May just continues to throw the ball extremely well. And today he had a string there at one point where we tracked him with 13 straight completions or something like that.
He didn't have an incompletion until the 1-minute drill.
Yeah, he was really good. The one thing that I think was the most effective, or not the most effective, but just what I'm most encouraged by, their play action passing game has been dynamite all summer long. They have been able to hit explosive plays off of play action plays over and over again. The joint practices, both joint practices so far, they're working in the middle of the field today and against the Colts last week. He starts it off with a crossing route to Pop Douglas off play action, and then he hit A.J. Brown on a similar route off of play action as well in the full team period. Just really effective play action passes. Josh McDaniels staples. He had a half boot. The one to Pop was like a little half boot as well, which was good to see. I think that Drake May has just been really good, but I've really become even more encouraged by that aspect, because I don't think that was necessarily a strength of their team last year.
Yeah.
And it's turning, at least has been all summer long, into a strength.
How much of that is due to Eli Raridon?
Could be some.
Let me combine two. How much of that is due to the presence of Eli Raridon and Reggie Gilliam?
A lot. So I think with play action, and this is like a philosophical thing to me, but whatever. With play action, a lot of it is presentation, right? It's the formation that you're in.
Exactly.
It's the down and distance. It's the personnel on the field. So when you have the fullback or you have multiple tight ends or whatever on the field, and then you come out in like an I formation with the quarterback under center, you're just in a run formation.
Right.
You're in a run look. And I think last year, teams just didn't respect Jack Westover. When Jack Westover was on the field as the fullback, they just didn't really fear.
I think
that
it's
run
that, and then the reason I brought up Raridon is they didn't respect Hooper as a run blocker.
Yeah.
So you could, play the pass even when they were in heavy personnel. Raridon makes it a little more multiple. Gilliam's a little more productive, a little more polished as a fullback. He can also catch the ball a little bit. We haven't really seen a ton of that, but we know that's in his bag. So that's just why I brought that up.
Yeah. That's the it's the blocking scheme. It's selling the blocking scheme and selling the fake, and then it's the presentation, the formation, the personnel.
Yeah.
That's what it all is with play action.
Because I think you have to.
Nice job.
Teams didn't have to necessarily respect the Patriots when they went heavy last year. No. Or the third count would be when they would just put the jumbo lineman in, and they knew they were right, and then they would come in heavy, but you weren't going to throw out of that. So I think that there's a couple guys. They're more varied out of those sets, which is helping that play.
They're more
action
dynamic.
pop.
They're more of a threat.
Thank you is the word I was looking for. Dynamic.
They're more of a threat, and they have guys at receiver, whether it's A.J. Brown, Dobbs, even Mac Hollins, that can really block as well out of those positions. And so they've had some real fun with those. Even some real jumbo packages where it's 2 tight ends, 2 backs, the fullback, the running back, and just 1 receiver out on the field. And those are tough to stop because they're they're really loading up and they can run the football out of it. We went 25 minutes into the show and really haven't talked a ton about A.J. Brown.
Who's the main event today.
Probably going to be the story of the practice. I think I had him with 7 catches in team today. I didn't track the 7-on-7s, but just in the 11-on-11s plus the 7-on-7s, I think it's about 7 or 8 catches or whatever it ended up being. 3 really big plays, though. I mentioned the crossing route. And then the play of the day, if it got off, I don't know, like it might have been a sack, like there was pressure in Drake May's face with Jihad Campbell. But the play of the day was that back foot teardrop that Drake May threw to A.J. Brown down the right sideline, just perfectly over his shoulder. And A.J. Brown made a toe tapping catch and caught it in bounds. They were on fire today, the two of those guys. And A.J. Brown, I don't even think it was like necessarily that it was the Eagles. Like I think that was maybe some motivation, but it wasn't like it wasn't outward motivation. Like you didn't see him like showboating or anything, but it was impressive.
I think you listen to him talk after practice and like he clearly felt it, but he didn't outwardly like you said, there was no expression of it. I did think it was a cool moment. The first competitive rep of the day, which was one-on-ones, they go right in front of those bleachers there, left sideline. A.J. Brown, Quinion Mitchell. Crowd's going nuts before the ball's even snapped. Like when they saw A.J. Brown go out there, it's kind of a cool moment.
That's literally what they all came for.
And then it wasn't complete. Did you have Mitchell with a hold on that? Did you give him a pass break? So he ran it go up the left sideline.
Yeah.
Drake put it at the front pylon. It looked like Brown had a shot on it. I think Eagles fans are going to say it was a drop. Patriots fans are going to say it was a hold.
Yeah.
Brown had him beat. Like Brown cleared him. So I don't know what you saw on that, but
I thought it was a little bit of a hold, but I think that I probably give that one to Quinion Mitchell just because it's a tough drill for a corner, right? I mean, you're on an island against an all-pro receiver. If you even just force an incompletion and it's not a blatant flag, I kind of give that to the defense. But I thought in general it was kind of the A.J. Brown show. It wasn't as when we were in Minnesota last year for the joint practices with the Vikings. Stephon Diggs I want to say it was the first day of practice, just put on an absolute clinic. I mean, he was just feeling his oats. And I think that was because he was back in a place where that traded him and he had a little bit of extra motivation for that practice. I didn't think that this was quite the same showman type stuff, but this was just like clinical. Like we're out here and we're making plays. The other guy I wanted to highlight on the offense. Let's actually say that one. We'll get to that in 3 up, 3 down. What did you think of Will Campbell's day? Because I know some of the Eagles reporters were a little bit critical of Campbell and said that Jalen Son, beat him pretty good on a handful of reps. I kind of had it as like an okay day.
Yeah.
Fine. I think I said to you after practice he was fine.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was a disaster. Like last year against Greenard in Minnesota was a disaster. Like that was a bad day of practice. This I felt was more even than that. But this was probably the first time this summer that I saw Campbell with some decisive losses. He had a bad loss to Hunt in the one-on-one drills, and he got beat in team by him on 1 rep as well. So a summer there where I think he's basically pitched a shutout.
Yeah.
This was maybe the first sign of a little bit of trouble.
Little back down to earth. I would say he was okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't alarming or anything. Like you mentioned, like Grenard last year really got him. I thought 1 win, 1 loss, and one-on-ones. There was one that I thought was a sack in team. I think it was Hunt again. But everybody, and my depth perception sucks. Everybody was saying, and you were upstairs, right? So you had a better angle. Everybody was saying that Campbell pushed Hunt maybe around the horn.
That's how I saw it. I know which one you're talking about. I thought he got him at least far enough past the quarterback. Now maybe May did slide up a little bit, so maybe he did feel him a little bit, but it wasn't like
it wasn't a loss.
No.
Yeah. So I thought there was one where he kind of got pushed back and beat. I think you said you had him with 2 pressures. I had him at 1, but I could have missed one. And then splitting the one-on-one. So, I mean, again, it's not Penei Sewell.
Right.
He's not Joe Thomas. We know that. He's going to get beat, but against that front, I'm okay. If that's kind of what he is all year, that's a starting caliber left tackle. Like, I think you can live with that. So, not quite as good as he was the rest of the summer. Definitely, tempering a little bit from that, but not alarmed. He was fine.
Yeah, I'd like to see how it comes out tomorrow.
Yeah.
Hunt won't be against him again, I'm sure, most of the practice tomorrow. They're going to be more in the red zone tomorrow, I think, so it's not as much in the open field, but it'll be interesting to see how he does tomorrow against Hunt after seeing him a little bit today. I highly doubt that he has very much familiarity with Jalen Hunt. Like I don't.
No,
think
the only one I think we saw. Were we talking about this on the air or off the? I don't even remember. That's how drained I am. 30 minutes into the show. Jared Wilson.
Yeah, we're gonna get to Jared Wilson
Okay.
here in a sec. I want to go Lomu first, and then I got Jared Wilson next.
I'll be honest. I did not. When the second team offense was on the field, I was more watching the defense because I wanted to see the corners. I did not see a ton of Lomu today, so please tell me how he did.
So Lomu, I thought, was up and down, like he hit, like per usual with him right now. There was a 3-play sequence. I'll read it out to you because I thought it was very telling of like kind of the summer that I think that Caleb Lomu has had. So he had the first rep, they ran outside zone. He was on the backside of outside zone. He had a great backside reach block on outside zone that Jam Miller cut off his hip and went up the field on. It was like a plus block, like really good block. The very next play, he got swim moved over him for a pressure. The next play after that, he fell off a front side block and it was a stuffed run. So it was like one really outstanding block followed by 2 not so good blocks. And that's just life of a rookie.
And that's what he's been. It's like you see, I said this. You watch one rep and you're like, yeah, that guy looks like a first-round pick. And then you watch another rep and you're like, yeah, that looks like a guy that's changing positions and is a rookie.
Right.
So it's just, that balance and the development's coming along. I wonder if they thought he'd maybe come along a little bit quicker, but you see the talent. The talent's there. It's the consistency that really has to come together.
I would say the backside block that he made on the Miller run that I just mentioned was probably the best run block I saw any Patriot lineman make all day. It was really nice block.
Yeah.
Now it was a 2s-on-2s, but it was a really nice block. But then
Credit where credit's due.
Follow it up in the same exact series with 2 blown blocks right after it is just such a great kind of microcosm of what his summer has looked like. I also thought he stoned Epineza in their one-on-one. I didn't see Lomu's second one-on-one, but the first one that he went up against Epineza, first he tried to beat him outside, realized he wasn't going to beat him outside, then he tried to spin back up in the pocket, and Lomu matched him both ways. So that was an impressive rep. I thought that was a good sign. Played both tackle spots, played a little bit on the left and a little bit on the right. Him and Marcus Bryan are on the same program. Usually it's Bryan starts on the left and Lomu starts on the right, and then at some point in practice they flip and Bryan goes to the right and Lomu goes to the left. It's interesting to me, though, that still continues to be kind of an even competition, if you will. Like, I think Marcus Bryan is still continuing to push Lomu as the top swing tackle, but Lomu just kind of riding the roller coaster still a little bit. You mentioned Jared Wilson, 2 really good one-on-one reps against Jordan Davis. Now, Jordan Davis is not a pass rusher necessarily. He is a pocket denter and an outstanding run defender, but not necessarily known for his finesse and his ability to win one-on-one pass rush. But Wilson,
he's powerful.
He got underneath Jordan Davis and leveraged him and then put his hands up in his chest and stopped Jordan Davis in his tracks on one of the reps. Like, I think Davis didn't even move.
He stonewalled him
completely. For Jared Wilson to be able to do that against such a big dude in Jordan Davis was really impressive. I thought most of their good runs were either center, A-gap center or to the B-gap on the left side between Campbell and Vera Tucker. So Wilson's, pretty involved in some of those blocks as well at the point of attack in the run game. I thought this was a really promising practice for Jared Wilson, and I thought he was okay against Grover Stewart last week too, and Grover Stewart's a big dude too and tough dude to move. So he faced 2 guys. We've concerns about Jared Wilson in power and being able to hold up against the big nose tackles.
More of an athletic center.
Both Jordan Davis and Grover Stewart. I thought Grover Stewart was better against him than Davis was.
Which is kind of nuts because Davis is a better player.
Yeah, Grover Stewart's a really underrated player too, though.
I'll take Jordan Davis.
Grover Stewart, I thought was a little bit better than Davis against Wilson, but I think in both instances, we keep saying the words held up. Like, he held up.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't look like a total disaster. But that one-on-one rep by Jared Wilson was probably the best one of the day for the Patriots. I mean, that was he absolutely
so right after that, Mike Onwenu stonewalled Jalen Carter.
Yeah.
On the next one. So those 2 back-to-back were like, oh, Like, those are two guys that are towards the top of the league at what they do.
Yeah.
And not that Mike Owen and Jared Wilson are bad players, but it's not just that they beat it. It was a clean, decisive win for both of them.
It was good.
So that stood out. And then I think Nolan Carter beat Morgan Moses on the next rep.
Yeah.
Nolan Smith, thank you. So couldn't go 3 for 3. But, good. And I'm trying to remember who Vera Tucker had the snap before that.
So Vera Tucker went up, I think he went up against one of their backup defensive tackles and lost the rep,
sounds right.
Which I was actually pretty surprised by. It was Usar Bernard, who we know a lot of names.
Ur Bernard, yeah.
We know a lot of names, Barth. I don't know that name.
You don't know Ur Bernard?
No.
He was like a whole thing in the draft. You don't remember this?
No.
Brugler wrote about who's the fake Sid Finch? You don't know who Sid Finch is.
This is like, for me to not know a name, like for one of us to not know who this person is like...
It wasn't Brugler. It was one of those other draft guys started reporting on him literally on April 2nd. And I remember the date because I remember thinking if you did this on April 1st, everybody would think it's a joke.
Because of the name.
No, Ur Bernard is from...
apparently I thought he was not real.
No, Ur Bernard is from Nigeria. He came as an international pathway player. Evan, you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
6'5",
Yep.
306, 36-inch arms, 4.640 with a 1.5 split, a 4.5 shuttle, 39-inch vertical, 10'10" broad jump. The dude's a freak.
So he did not go to college in the United States.
No, he came through that like NFL academy thing, whatever. He's I think he has the highest RAS score of all time.
Okay,
or he's top 5, and nobody knew about him until they did the international combine in April, and he started blowing up. And of course, the Eagles took him. He's like never played football, but he's an elite of the elite athletes.
Beat Vera Tucker right around the edge, right around his outside hip. And when I tracked the rep, I had to, because we were talking about this off the air. The Eagles practice jerseys are terrible. The numbers on them are horrible. It's really hard to read. I thought when I first watched it that it was Moro Jomo. Like, I was like, that's definitely Moro Jomo, who basically replaced Milton Williams in their defense as like their 3-tech on pass rush situations. I was like, okay, like, Jomo's a good player, like that whatever. And then I looked at the number and I was like, no, that's definitely a 93, and it was Bernard.
So the whole thing was like 6% body fat. He's a rare athlete that they're going to try to turn into a football player.
Well, he was pretty good. At least on that rep.
Again,
good rep.
39-inch vertical at 306 pounds.
Yeah. That's
absurd.
Yeah. It was a good rep. Vera Tucker doesn't lose a ton of one-on-ones. So
no.
That was a good rep. Going over to the defense, just some individual guys. Where are we at with Gabe Akis? Because I did some defending of Gabe Akis on Patriots Unfiltered earlier today during practice. I would so much rather the mistakes that Gabe Akis is making right now than it to look like he doesn't belong in an NFL field. I feel like he looks the part completely on the field, walking off the bus, all the above. I think his power is translating. I think his body type fits the league. I think his mentality and his physicality fits the league. It's between the ears. Like, you just got to figure it out mentally.
Right.
You just got to read plays a little bit better and react to plays a little bit better. I thought today he would flash in there a couple of times. He got Miles Hinton in one-on-ones on a bull rush. I just continue to see 50 active. Like, I think he's active in these practices. Doesn't mean he's perfect. He's got a lot to work on, I think, in terms of play recognition and things like that. But coming out of that preseason game, I thought people were too low on what he put on tape. I really do. I think it was a couple of bad, kind of over-aggressive, getting out of his lanes type of situations on screens and stuff like that. But for the most part, I thought that it all translated. Like, he can bull rush tackles back into quarterbacks. He can set an edge. He plays with an edge. Like, that's all the things we thought we were going to get out of Akis.
Yeah, and it's just, how do you let him play so aggressively without playing out of control?
Yeah.
And they're going to let him be, I don't want to say undisciplined to an extent, but we know they'll err on the side of aggression. Obviously, you can't be blowing assignments. So that was always going to kind of be the thing with him, is how do you kind of not rein in his aggression, but bottle it and make sure it's used the right way. So
he needs a little bit more in his portfolio as a pass rusher. Like, there needs to be some other counter besides power and a bull rush. that he can go to, whether, a lot of bull rushers like use a ghost or something like that because they'll show the punch or show the long arm and then kind of dip. I don't know if he has the flexibility to do that. Maybe it's an inside counter, like if guys are setting back and catching him in a bull rush, he can maybe inside counter.
Well, that's what I was going to say. What would you consider the best counter to a power move?
If you can't ghost, like if you can't speed a dip because you don't have the flexibility, I would say an inside counter because like a lot of guys, if they have bull rushers, they're not going to sit back and catch you, right? They're going to come and get you. They're going to try to ruin your momentum because they're not going to want to get pushed back into the quarterback. So a lot of those times, the bull rushers, like they get guys that quick set them and just come right at them and are aggressive with the pass set. So if you can develop like a swim or an arm over or like a quick win inside, then you can swim around those guys. You can go jump inside of them and jump the inside gap. That's what I would say would be like the nice counter for him. I wish that he had a little bit more speed and bend off the edge, but that's just not his game. That's not who he is.
Right.
So I don't think the Harold Landry Ghost Rush is going to be in his toolbox, but Harold Landry has it because he's 240, 245.
Right. Dak's a little bit bigger.
Yeah, Dak is 260. So it's just a different type of athlete. But I would give him some grace. I think that the physical traits or the tools that you see physically are translating. He's just got to figure it out. Like, he's just got to figure out the game at this level, the speed of the game. A couple more notes here, and then we'll open it up. John Saunders just around the ball again. It was against the threes. It was against the
Eagles.
Was
pretty telegraphed. I don't know if you saw that.
Hey, he read it like a book. Yeah. I'm going to give him that. Hassan Haskins just continues to. I think Hassan Haskins.
That's your third running back.
Yeah,
I'm telling you right now, he does a lot of good things. Real quick on Saunders.
Yeah.
You mentioned the ball keeps coming right to him.
Right to him.
At a certain point, like you get one of those and it's like, oh, the quarterback threw it right to him. All right, whatever.
Got a nose for it, Alex.
Right. Once you get, how many of them do you have to get before we start saying, hey, he might have really good instincts?
Yeah.
And instincts are so important at the safety position. I think he's ahead of Mike Brown right now. I don't know.
Too.
Him and Del Pettis are kind of different players.
Yeah.
I think in a perfect world, you keep both because they can sort of do different things for you. But, again, it was with the lower unit, and it's not like he's been unbelievable between these picks. He's been fine. He hasn't been bad. But, like, when you get this many picks, it's not a coincidence. It's just not.
So Del Pettis is a downhill player.
Right. Del Pettis is more. This is the
Del Pettis is a
box safety.
He can lay the wood. He
Right.
can blitz and come downhill at the line of scrimmage. And if you need somebody to blitz and fill the B gap, Del Pettis can do that. If you want somebody that can cover in the back end, then that's John Saunders.
This is the box safety, deep safety, free safety, strong safety, Kyle Chung, Devin McCourty kind of thing.
That's why I keep feel myself gravitating towards Saunders.
Yeah.
Is because their type is more Saunders.
Yeah.
Like
That's what Byard is.
Byard, Woodson, Hawkins last year. Like, this is why Kyle Duggar and Jabril Peppers got pushed off the roster.
Right.
Is because they want their safeties to play 12 yards off the ball, play in the deep part of the field. They're going to cover tight ends, and they're also going to cover slot receivers in certain formations.
And Saunders, have you watched any of Saunders' college tape?
No.
So he was a corner at first in college, and there's some like decent reps. Obviously, he's better safety. There's some okay man coverage reps on there. For a safety,
I believe it
okay,
because he's got good feel for coverage. And if I had to guess, Pettis is going to be on the team for special teams and maybe as a box safety.
Sometimes they want that, and they're also thinner linebackers, so it makes sense to keep a guy like that.
Yeah, but I think Saunders is more their prototype at that position.
Agree.
And he keeps on finding the ball, and he looks comfortable in the back end. And
at a certain point, it's not a coincidence.
We talked to him. It was over the weekend, maybe. These days start to blend together.
Yeah.
Saturday or Sunday, and I asked him about playing more in the box because I know in college he played more deep in free safety, and he said that he's getting better at it, but he really feels more comfortable playing in the deep part of the field. Like, that's his specialty. He's like 6'2", 205, so he's got some size and he's got some length to go up and get the ball and high point the ball and he
looks like a corner. He's built like a corner.
Yeah, it's an interesting player of body type. I'm not trying to make him. I know I'm kind of making him sound like Ed Reed, but I just feel like I don't want to. Last summer it was all Jabril Peppers and Kyle Duggar and Jabril Peppers, and all of a sudden by the end of the summer neither one of those guys was on the team. Well, Duggar was for a little while, but it was obviously Hawkins and Woodson's backfield at some point. it's not going to be Saunders as a starter, but would it shock you if he's the third safety at some point just because of the way he plays?
Well, then I think you get into the short answer, no. Long answer, then I think you get into the game plan stuff. And this is why, to go back to something we talked about earlier, and why I think there's room for him and Pettis. In a given matchup, what do you want your third safety to do? Do you want him to blitz and play in the box and spy the quarterback, or do you want him to play deep? When you're playing, say, the Bills, maybe a guy like Del Pettis makes a little more sense as kind of a quarterback spy.
Yeah.
If you're playing a team that, I'm trying to think of a team on their schedule that's like very vertical in the passing game. I guess Seattle, kind of like right out of the gate.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that Deron Harmon type third safety. So in some games, yes, I think having him and Pettis allows you just to add more wrinkles to the defense, which is, so in some cases, yes, in some cases, no, but there, in those cases that you want to do it, I think he's a good player for that role.
I wonder too, just last thing on this, Craig Woodson has been really effective near the ball this summer, near the line of scrimmage, blitzing, playing the run. We saw that in the playoffs last year a little bit too, especially in the Super Bowl, just flying around towards the football. If you want to unlock Craig Woodson to just kind of hunt the football, and you have the two guys back in Byard and Saunders, like more of that. If you want to, like, what I'm saying is, I guess, is like maybe Woodson's the big nickel. Maybe he's the big dime backer. Maybe he's the third safety.
Deron Harmon.
Right, and then Saunders is kind of the back end guy that is the Deron Harmon, right?
Right, yeah.
You know, that sort of thing. We've been looking at it like maybe it's Mike Brown in the box, maybe it's Del Pettis in the box. I actually wonder if they get to a point where they say it's actually Craig Woodson in the box,
right?
And we're going to put John Saunders on the field with Kevin Byard, and that's how we're going to get to three safeties. Last thing here, and then we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to open up with all your calls and emails. And we're also going to do 3 up, 3 down for the last week of training camp. So the joint practices against the Colts and the Eagles, the preseason game, all of that baked into one. I have one last nugget I wanted to get to, though. Where are we at? Where's your temperature? The fourth cornerback thing is starting to worry me. I know I was the last one on this train.
Yeah.
I'll be the last one on it, I guess. Charles Woods has not been good since he came back from, I think, was concussion protocol. He was back at practice in the red jersey, which usually that's what that signals. Kendall Vildor did have the pick today, but I mean, it wasn't real. I thought that the last couple of practices without Gonzalez, it's been a little dicey back there at corner. Your boy Karan Prunty has his moments, but it's a rookie thing, up and down rookie thing. I think with him,
he had another play today.
Are you worried about this at all, or am I just late to this party to be worried about this?
No, it's a fair concern. Look, like, it'd be great if they get 17 games out of collectively Gonzalez, Davis, Marcus Jones. That's usually not how the NFL works.
Yeah.
And even still, having somebody who can rotate in and help keep those guys fresh. So it's obviously going to be a drop-off to the next guy. Like Carlton Davis, Christian Gonzalez, we all know what he is. Even Carlton Davis, like one of the better corners in the NFL. I think he gets underrated. You don't want it to be that much of a drop-off. And right now it's a little too extreme. We gush, Evan.
Yes.
We gush over 2018 Devin McCourty.
We do.
Who was the third corner on that team.
We gush over 2018 Jason McCourty, I think.
Jason, that's what I meant. Sorry, guys.
It's okay. They're twins. It's all right.
I know that I apologize to them. I don't like doing that.
We are big proponents of the third corner Jason McCourty
the 2018 just like we gush over 2018 Adrian Waddle. 2018 Jason McCourty was an incredibly valuable player to the Patriots as that third corner behind Steph Gilmore and J.C. Jackson. Now, Jason McCourty is a starting caliber corner.
Yeah. It's
probably like a number 2, but so I don't know if you're getting a starting caliber corner at this time of year, but that role is important. And I don't know, is there a way they can upgrade there? I haven't been wowed. Kendall Vildor started to be a little bit better, and I think you kind of looked for him to be that guy coming in and a guy that has started games in this league.
Yeah, definitely has the experience.
So, if he closed out camp strong here, has another good day tomorrow, maybe I'll feel a little better about it, make some plays in the preseason game, but not that anybody is 2018 Jason McCourty, but not quite 2018.
No one could possibly be 2018
Who are some of the other random players that we're just like, this guy in this year? I mean, personally, 2020 Damiere Byrd.
I feel, though, that
Brandon Cooks.
Jason McCourty's pass breakup in Super Bowl 53 is one of the best plays I've ever seen.
It's a great play.
So
and not everybody
I don't
makes
feel like
that
we're
play.
overhyping that. Like, he came out of absolutely nowhere to basically save a Super Bowl.
Right.
And not win the Super Bowl, but he definitely had one of the plays of that Super Bowl and a defensive Super Bowl. So I know people say that we get hot and bothered about 2018 Jason McCourty, and rightfully so. He made one of the plays of the season.
Right.
Like, do they win the Super Bowl if he doesn't make that play?
No.
Probably not. So
I'd like for
get
them
off
to
my
get.
lawn.
I don't think you're going to get somebody quite of that caliber at this time.
No.
But if there's room to upgrade there, unless somebody steps up.
Yeah. We just posted on Twitter the AJ Brown crossing route that Drake May hit him on early in practice with a tight window throw over the middle of the field.
Over Reek Wallen.
And you can see the angle of it, like how just pinpoint accurate that throw was.
Game inches.
Right on a dime. All right, we're going to hit the break so that we can open up the show to your calls and emails in a few minutes. We'll be right back.
Come welcome our newest restaurant additions at Patriot Place. Estella brings a celebration of flavors with a modern fusion menu, exciting cocktails, and brunch available daily beginning at 11 a.m. Enjoy freshly brewed coffee and Mediterranean-inspired breakfast and lunch from Angel's Cafe. Craving the classics? Chick-fil-A makes it easy to grab your favorite with mobile through, carry-out, and dine-in options. Download the Patriot Place Advantage app for special offers and to earn rewards every time you visit. Patriot Place. Shop, dine, enjoy.
The heaviest metal credit card of all time. Wielded at business dinners like a samurai sword. It's a classic corporate power move. But the real power move? Having end-to-end visibility on your most critical shipments. FedEx, the new power move.
Whether you're in the game or betting on the game, you'll need a game plan. DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the New England Patriots, provides you with everything you need to build your personal betting game plan so you can get in on all the action while practicing safe bets. Visit DraftKings.com/responsible-gaming to learn more about all the safe betting tools DraftKings has to offer. Hope is here, 800-327-5050 or gamblinghelplinema.org. Must be 21 plus. Play it smart from the start. GameSenseMA.com. Physically present in Massachusetts. See DraftKings.com/responsible-gaming for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources.
There's enough needless nonsense in the world already. Your phone plan shouldn't add to it. Verizon's new Simplicity plan cuts down on the nonsense in your life. Now there's just one plan, one price. $30 a line per month, even for a single line. And everyone gets our best 5G network. It's a phone plan designed to do exactly what a phone plan is supposed to do. Isn't that a lot simpler? Switch today at Verizon.com or at your nearest store. For new customers, $30 per line includes auto pay and switch discount. Additional taxes, fees, and terms apply. Unlimited data is restricted to on-device smartphone usage. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds.
If you're gonna play the game, boy, you gotta learn to play it right.
DraftKings is all about responsible gaming. It's more fun when it's for fun. So play responsibly. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction.
Welcome to the most powerful kind of cancer care. One team unites two of the nation's best hospitals. One team saves more lives every year. Our team. We're one against cancer. Mass General Brigham.
Catch-22.
Catch-22.
I heard from a birdie that we might be getting some legal seafoods tomorrow on the show. Maybe you can come up out.
I was gonna say,
Alex,
like, where was this
I'm
today?
sure we're gonna have a little extra, and you are,
Fish tomorrow.
part of Patriots.com, so you can have a little bit if you want. I heard lobster rolls might be on the menu.
Yeah, I'm coming.
So come on up.
9:30
I'll allow it.
Matt,
It's
my
all
golf
right.
guy. Like, you got it. We bonded earlier. You got to help me.
So maybe we'll eat some lobster rolls. I'm not a big fan of like eating on the air because I'm a clumsy eater. Like, it's not a pretty sight. You know, so like it's just, I feel like that's like a skill that like the Food Network people have, that they can like eat, like they can look good while eating. Like I'm not one of those people, but I'm excited for it. And Legal Seafoods is giving fans a true taste of Boston this season. As the official seafood restaurant of the New England Patriots, pregame or postgame, get the seafood you love at your local restaurant today. www.legalseafoods.com. All right, I see 3 calls already. I'm sure people want to weigh in and ask questions about today's practice. We are going to start with Sean in Vancouver. What's up, Sean?
All right, let me just take you off my headphones here. Hold on a second. Apologize for that. Yeah. So you guys were talking about Daquan Jones a little bit, but I've been really wondering about replacement for Tonga. I think they need a true nose tackle, so I'm hoping he could fill that role. I know it's maybe there's more need in linebacker, but there's no reason why they can't bring in Shaq Thompson as well. So I'd like to see what that happens. And Alex, I have a specific question for you. How did Borregales look? Because I have a feeling that maybe I'm actually more of a hope that the problem against the Colts was that Julian Ashby was missing. So I'll let you answer that. Take off.
So that's kind of what
Sean.
That's kind of what Mike Vrabel said before practice today. Although
I was a little surprised by that.
I also wonder he ripped into Borregales after the preseason game.
Maybe he was trying to.
And I was a little surprised. I was like, I know he missed, but you didn't. You know, Borregales has looked better. So what they've done before this, the 2 practices they had before this week, full practices. If you've been out to training camp, you know.
You love this.
I do love it. It's great. There's 4 goalposts because they have 2 fields.
How much do you love that special teams?
Just let me finish. Just let me finish. Can you?
No,
I don't love it. I don't love it. I'd rather they have a kicker they feel good about, or we feel good about. But
go ahead. Sorry, I apologize.
They have a goalpost that is half as wide as the regulation ones. It's narrow.
Yeah.
And so they've had Borregales in team 11 on 11 kicking there. And I think the goal is to it ups the pressure a little bit. You can't replicate a game. He's 8 of 11 on the narrow one before today, but 2 of those misses would have been good on the wider one. So Vrabel said today before practice he liked how he'd responded.
Yeah.
In practice today, his first kick was 30-ish yards, doinks it off the left upright. I thought it doinked in. The ref said it was no good. There was also a flag and then a fight.
I saw him doink one in later.
So yeah. So the first one missed, doink left upright, and then there was a fight. Yeah. So I don't know what happened there. He then hit his next 4, maxing out at 52. Now, he did doink one in. So he had 2 doinks today, 1 out, 1 in. So he was 4 for 5 today. If he didn't doink that one in and just hit all 4, I'd feel pretty good about it. The fact he had 2 doinks is I still think he's okay. Saturday will be big.
Yeah.
Honestly, I wonder if it's the kind of thing where they get into the game, they're like, even if it's a 4th and 1 where you might realistically go for it, they're like, we need to get him out there and see what he does, right?
Right.
So the game's the game. It's just different. I think kicker's probably one of the tougher positions to replicate a game environment in the struggles they deal with on a game day, whether that be weather, whether that be pressure of the moment, what have you. So if he has another bad game Saturday, you start bringing guys in, at least for workouts. But he's been better this week because he had a rough week last week, too. He wasn't good in that joint practice. They had another practice where he missed a couple kicks. So if he goes out in the game and he's fine, I think it's mostly behind him. I would feel like he's more or less settled in, and maybe you chalk some of it up to having to work with a different long snapper. If he struggles again in the game, well, then those 2 doinks, look, it's the Step Brothers. Well, now the tuxedos seem kind of effed up, right? So now the 2 doinks seem kind of whatever. So let's see what he does in the game. I'm cautiously optimistic. I don't think he's quite out of the woods yet, but he's trending in the right direction.
So you don't love that your niche of covering this team, which is the specialists and special teams in general. This is a above the fold story right now on this team.
It is.
You should be happy about that. People,
I appreciate
they're calling in to ask you specifically about it.
I appreciate people caring about it. I appreciate me being the person that they go to. I mean, I don't want the fans to be. I like the fans. I don't want the fans to be stressed. I don't want them to stress over the kicker. I'd rather them not have to. But
there's nothing worse than stressing over the kicker.
You're right. But if they're going to stress about the kicker, I do appreciate being the one they come to ask the questions.
So
I would rather special teams be in the spotlight because Bryce Behringer continues to be unbelievable. Had another excellent period today.
No one's talking about Bryce Behringer.
He's been
more about Bryce Behringer.
He's been unreal ever since the first practice or 2 at camp. He was like, okay. Since the second week of camp, he's been on it. If Drake May was on this kind of heater,
nobody's talking about
we would be talking about him as the MVP favorite right now. If Drake May was on this level of heater, he's been. Now again, special teams. We'll see what it looks like in the game. He struggled down the stretch last year. He has to be better in games. He's been awesome in this camp. So credit. We'll do it like we do on Patriots Beat. Credit where credit's due.
Yeah.
Credit where credit's due. Bryce Behringer has been excellent, and he was again today.
Really quickly on the kicker.
Yeah.
In my untrained opinion on this topic, he still is yanking it from right to left, and it's still going wide left.
So the
like
two doinks were left. He's had which tells me he's over kicking.
Yeah.
And I wonder if it goes back to the first two he missed, because when he missed the first kick in that game, it was like 55, 56 yards.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I didn't think much of it because it's like, all right, like a 55-yard field goal is not a gimme. Right? And, then he was, I think, 52 and he missed. It's like, all right, well, it's not a gimme, but he's a big leg. He should be hitting some of these. And I think the first one, it wasn't short because it was more wide than short and it had the distance, but I don't think he got all of it. And I wonder if just the distances are in his head because
he made from like 56, 57 today. At the end.
Oh, yeah. So he hit the 57-yarder
at the very end, which was encouraging because those 50-plus ones are the ones that, 49, 55, 56, right, where the three misses in the game. I just have noticed that he's yanking it, and maybe overkicking it is the way that is why that is happening.
That could be one of the reasons.
Because he's really pulling through the ball, right? But he seems to be like the ball is drifting off to its left. The ones that he had today, he missed one left, and then he doinked one left. I just wonder if that's a little bit of it. I was a little bit surprised this morning, and I texted you about this morning.
Yeah.
After the game, and I get it, he hasn't watched the tape and talked to Jeremy Springer and Tom Quinn, and they probably broke it all down and all that kind of stuff, and they might have changed their tune a little bit. After the game, it was, they're banging through 60-yard field goals. Our kicker needs to do the same thing. Then this morning, it turned to, well, he was working with a new long snapper, and there's a lot that goes into it, and I'm not saying that Mike Vrabel doesn't have the knowledge because he's very impressive how much knowledge of football he has in every walk of football. But I do wonder if maybe Springer and Tom Quinn and Vrabel had a meeting of the minds and they kind of broke down the tape and saw, the ball wasn't getting down on time or the laces weren't perfect. So Behringer had to turn the ball at the last second or something little detailed minutia like that.
I also wonder if there's an element of, again, it's so mental and Vrabel kind of revisited the comments and you don't want to cause it's in the Patriots' best interest.
Well, they hyped him up all last year, even when he struggled early on.
And Vrabel had a history in Tennessee of having kind of a quick hook with these guys. And he said he learned that lesson. So it's in the Patriots' best interest for Borregales to get it right and be their kicker. Yeah. I think some people think it's in their best interest for him to suck and force them into getting a new kicker. No, you'd rather mystery box or the boat, right? Yeah. You'd rather the guy you already have on the team be good. So I wonder if Vrabel just looked at and this is where Vrabel's very good at kind of relating from player to player. Right. I wonder if he looked at the mental side of it and maybe just thought, it'll help him be better if I give him an attaboy today. Whether he meant what he said after the game and today was a little, playing with it, or maybe he was trying to send a message after the game and it was harsher than he really felt and today was kind of just making good on it. Maybe he just felt like this is the messaging this kid needs to get back on track.
Just to let you know, Paul is competing with us right now on your station.
Oh, look at that.
Paul, Sunshine Day is going on right now on the Sports Hub during Catch-22. Just right up competitive with his own
I'll tweet out the link to my podcast with Zoe right now.
No, don't do that.
No, I'm not going to do that. I am going to tweet out my notebook, though. You can read that and watch the show.
So you had him 4 for 5 today to wrap up the Borregales thing, right? 4 for 5.
Well, 6 of 7 if you include the 2 in the 1 minute. So
6
4 or 5 in the team period, and then he hit the 2 50-yarders at the end there.
Okay, so 6 of 7.
So, again, just to put the cap on it, trending in the right direction, but not out of the woods yet.
Yeah, and then on the run defense point, it's on my small C concern list. My small C concern list has really changed over the last 10 days.
Kicker, third corner.
I'd say kicker, depth at corner, interior run defense are probably the top 3 right now.
I don't think interior run defense is low C.
You think that's
it's at least a middle C, medium C.
You think it's a capital C?
It's a medium C.
Medium C.
What about
the reason why I have
interior offense?
I think Van Roten will be okay.
Yeah,
I think they kind of
Van Roten. That was drifting towards capital C. Now with Van Roten, it's like a low.
It's still on my list because he hasn't practiced in full yet.
Right. Yeah, we didn't see him today.
Yeah, but it's not. It's not as big of a concern now that they made that signing. But interior run defense, and they work out a nose tackle and an off-ball linebacker. And after seeing the joint practices against the Colts, and then obviously this was before today, but now seeing today with Barkley, they might have been on this already. And that's one of those things with practice that's hard to watch. Like, you don't really, like I said earlier, there's so many bodies and colors flying all over the place in the trenches that sometimes you can't see exactly who's at fault for every run that gets creased.
Yeah.
So when they're watching the tape back, it seems like they're at least a little bit small C concerned about those spots too. Patty is in Agawam. What's up, Patty?
What's up, guys? So just a couple things before I get to my football point. Evan, that was me that yelled to you when you.
Oh, that was you. I'm sorry, Patty. I apologize.
He's not used to getting yelled at positively.
I thought, I just gave a wave. If it was, I didn't know it was you, I would have stopped. My bad.
That's all right.
I'm an a-hole. What can I say?
And Alex, I can't remember if it was PU or on the Sunday morning show that you do on the Sports Hub that I told you that I had Orr Bernard on a few of my mock drafts, and of course Howie Roseman had to grab him up because that's what Howie Roseman does, But just regarding the offense, I was sitting in the bleachers, so I just got mostly the offensive perspective. It seems like from what they did Monday, which was closed to the public, into today, they kind of carried the momentum that they had offensively Monday into today, and I think that's great. Like, do you guys think that, like, these guys are starting to figure it out, and if we see this again tomorrow, and possibly, I don't know who's going to play in the Cleveland game, but do you think this is a really good sign, considering, like, there were a lot of questions. There were questions before the Pats came on with A.J. Brown. There was questions with Dobbs, catching on and having things click. And, of course, like every year, the past couple of years, Pop had DeJean in a blender today. And it was amazing to see. And that's the question. Do you think these guys are starting to click? Do they get it? Does this momentum carry into the season? And is this offense going to be possibly even better than what they were last year? Take it off there, guys.
Thanks, Patty. Thanks for the call. I don't know if they're going to be statistically better, and I know this is kind of a popular take, but I don't know if they're going to be statistically
better. Record.
But I think that they're going to be, what's the word? I think that they're going to be better from the eye test standpoint, and just from, like, if you were devising a game plan against them, I think they're going to be, to use a Fredism, I think they're going to be harder to defend. Do I know if Drake May is going to complete 70% of his passes again? No. I don't think that will happen. I don't think they'll be able to replicate that kind of efficiency because they're going to play better teams and they're going to play better defenses and they have a harder schedule. But I think that they're going to be a more multiple team. I think they're going to be a more dangerous offense in a lot of ways. I think that what's happening is a combination of Drake May getting on the same page as A.J. Brown and Romeo Doubs. I also think that Josh McDaniels is kind of figuring out A.J. Brown and Romeo Doubs. More specifically, I would say Doubs. Yeah. I haven't seen Doubs in the slot nearly as much as we did early on in practice.
No, they're using him outside the numbers. They're using him down the field. I guess my only question on that is...
a lot more like he was used in Green Bay.
Right. I guess my only question on that is, like, okay, so they clearly had this role in mind for somebody to play on the inside.
Yeah.
Who is, like...
your boy.
Pop. I mean, he was good again today.
So I think that they're, it's clear that Doubs, I think, is more suited to sort of like a conventional route tree than something like the inside receiver route tree in this offense, which is so option heavy in decision making and all that kind of stuff, quickness at the top of the route. That's probably not his strength as much as some of the downfield plays that we've seen him make, the strong catches along the sidelines, the outs, the comebacks, the in cuts, the deep balls. Like, that's kind of where he started to flourish in a lot of these practices.
Yeah.
To me, that's like maybe a slight pivot in usage than it is like that Romeo Doubs stunk to begin camp and now all of a sudden is a great player, right? Like, I think that he's probably been the same guy all along, but they were using him in ways that maybe he wasn't super comfortable with. Now that they've had some couple weeks, some conversations, I'm sure, in rooms that we're not allowed to be in, they've sort of figured this thing out with Romeo Doubs. It's a good point, though. If that Diggs chain-moving slot role that we have grown accustomed to seeing in this Josh McDaniels offense, if that's not Dobbs' role, and it really, A.J. Brown's playing X. Like, he's playing X on the outside. If that's not Dobbs' role and that's not A.J. Brown's role, then it is relying a lot on Pop Douglas being like a consistent contributor.
You're talking about him being maybe a 100-catch guy.
Something like that, or at least a higher volume and he's got to be consistent. I think that's the one thing with Pop that we've seen that he's had some troubles with he's made plays and he's made big plays and big moments, but he's got to be consistently good and consistently in the right spots. So we'll see. We'll see if he's able to do that. If not, they don't really have another player with the body type or the skill set besides maybe Chisholm. And I don't know if Chisholm is it, so we'll see. Brian is in Atlanta. What's up, Brian?
Hey, what's up, guys? First and foremost, man, I'm a big fan of you guys. Been listening since about 2020 when we was all watching Cam Newton throw the ball in the dirt on flat routes. So we've came a long way, man. So shout out to you guys. So I got just a quick question. If you could, because, right now, Patriots Twitter is on fire. Like, all right, we had a good practice against the Eagles. We look good. So I think everybody's super excited. But if you could see one thing kind of derailing our season that we can't kind of maneuver around, what would you think that would be? And I'll take it off here.
Thanks, Brian. Well, I think it's a little bit of both. They're related in a little bit of both. I wanted to segue in at some point into our Christian Gonzalez temperature check right now.
Yeah.
Pass rush off the edge more specifically. And are they going to have to be kind of a paint-by-numbers scheme pass rush type of team? And if they are going to have to be that, which I think we both kind of feel like it's trending towards that,
right? They
need Gonzalez not only to be healthy, but he also needs to be locked in. Like they need a all-pro Christian Gonzalez, and right now he's maybe in my mind a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. I think he has a practice injury that he's banged up with that he's trying to get back from. I don't think that he's going to practice at less than 100% because of the contract. So when he was 100% and he was feeling fine, he was out at practice. The second that he wasn't, he hasn't been practicing.
Right.
And I think that's there has to be a little bit. And to his defense, you fully understand that, right? Like, I mean, you're not going to practice at less than 100% and risk further or more severe injury when you're in a contract negotiation on a mega deal, on a long-term extension.
Like generational money, not just life-changing money for your life, but generations.
Yeah. So what's your temperature right now with Gonzalez? We've seen, Vrabel has said he's done some return to play stuff and he's working out and all that kind of stuff. But it's been a week plus now, 5-6 practices, something like that.
He got hurt on that Monday, missed Tuesday. So over a week, however you want to slice it.
Yeah. I want to say this is either the 5th or 6th practice that he's missed, and he's missed both joint practices.
Yeah.
So
I would assume he's not going to practice tomorrow.
And I don't think we've been on the air since Devin Witherspoon signed his contract either.
That was on Saturday.
So where are we at?
Well, the clock started.
Yeah.
The clock has started. I'd really like to see him get it wrapped up this week. I think Monday's a huge day because you mentioned, the risk with the joint practices. Well, they're done with those after tomorrow. They won't practice again until Monday, but they're done with those after tomorrow.
Right.
It's when the real prep for the season starts to ramp up. If he was worried about the joint practices, which I kind of get, you're not going to miss the Colts one, come back for 4 days, and then miss the Eagles ones again. It's just a bad look. So you're just going to miss that week, right? So I would think. They got to get it done. When do you start to really worry about it? I went back and looked. Kyle Hamilton, who now safeties don't make as much as corners, but sort of comparable situation, right?
Yeah.
A guy that reset the market at his position, a lead player at his position on a very good team. Kyle Hamilton got his contract the day after roster cuts last year.
There's a lot of that does happen from time to time that a guy signs right before the regular season.
The only two guys that signed after him before, then it laps around to March and you do a whole other offseason, but I don't think you want to screw with that if you're the Patriots. Jameson Williams signed the day before the Lions opener. Mm-hmm. That wasn't a record-setting contract. And then Aiden Hutchinson signed in October. You throw Aiden Hutchinson out because he was hurt, and that's a separate, right? So, and they don't have a lot of time between roster cuts in the first game.
Not this year.
Well, at least less than everybody else, right? Besides Seattle. So
8 or 9 days.
Yeah. I think if we get through roster cuts, 24 hours after roster cuts and the practice squad set and, you're kind of done if you're the front office at that. They're never done, but you know what I mean? It wraps up busy periods. So that's the back end of it. I really think you'd like to see it get done this week so you can just start Seattle prep and not have to be worried about that. But and not have him worried about it, I should say. But, the back end of that window before you start to really get worried about it is like once roster cuts wrap up and the practice squad is set, like, all right, what's the plan here?
So just reading tea leaves, and I have no inside information, but just reading tea leaves on the situation, I don't want to give people too much of a popsicle headache, but I do want to talk through the contract negotiation a little bit.
Oh, I was on Felger Maz the other day, so I heard all the numbers.
Right. So Devin Witherspoon, the big number, and I know your shows are hammering this plenty.
Yeah.
The big number is the 2 for $59.
Guaranteed at signing.
Right out of the chute.
Because guaranteed in the NFL does not mean guaranteed.
So in his 4th and 5th seasons, so this year and next year, Devin Witherspoon is now going to make 2 years, $59 million total. So $59 million divided by 2, right? Whatever that math is. So the difference is between that and some of the other contracts that we've seen, for example, Sauce Gardner, is that it's more of an escalator contract, where Sauce Gardner got a little bit more in year 4 than he would normally get, a little bit more in year 5 than he would normally get, and then year 6 was the back.
Yeah.
So Derek Stingley, and Devin Witherspoon have gotten the bag immediately. They've gotten it now.
Right. So that's...
And I think that's what Gonzalez wants. Now...
We were talking... Just real quick, we were talking about this yesterday with Greg.
Yeah.
It's not even like right away on the extension. The raise on what would be the rookie contract
is huge.
Was like $40 million for Witherspoon. Now, not everybody gets that. Surtain, I think, got very little new money.
Yeah.
He got a big contract, but it didn't kick in until the contract really kicked in.
Right.
So that's going to be a variable here.
So the team perspective is that you have the 4th year of the rookie contract. You have the team option for the 5th year, which the Patriots have already picked up. And technically, even though I hope it doesn't get to this point, you have a franchise tag year too.
Right.
So from a team perspective, it's like, well, we don't really need to pay that kind of money to him immediately up front because he's under contract and we have team control. From a player perspective, he wants the bag, which is totally reasonable.
Right.
Now, the only thing that I would say is that if Christian Gonzalez wants the bag, that's fine. I would pay him everything that he wants. But usually on the back end of the contract, it has to be team friendly. Because if you got the money up front, then you got to negotiate. Like, you got to give something here. So on the back end of the contract, you want it to be a little bit more team friendly, where maybe those last couple of years of the deal aren't fully guaranteed, or there's options or outs in the contract, or whatever the case may be. Even though these numbers get reported, and Witherspoon was 4 for 132 and 101 guaranteed, it's actually an extension, so it's a 6-year contract for that kind of money. Usually they're really like 3-year contracts. Some players that are really star-stud players will get like 3.5 years guaranteed.
Right.
But there's a lot of times that there's outs in a lot of these contracts. So if I had to guess, and again, this is just a guess, if I had to guess, that's what they're haggling over. Gonzalez wants to get the money that Witherspoon got up front. The Patriots probably want to pay him more the escalator route, or they're saying, if we give you the bag now, then it's really only going to be like a 3-year contract. And we're going to give ourselves flexibility on the back end. I don't know where this ends up. They have the framework from Seattle, and I think Witherspoon did give the concession of it being a little bit more team friendly on the back end to get the money immediately. So if I'm the Patriots, like, you just put the Witherspoon contract on the table and say, your buddy just signed this contract in Seattle like last week. And this is, you guys are kind of comparable players, and we think both of you guys are studs, and this is the money, right? Like, this is the market. I don't know who's signing or what negotiation or who's being the difficult one here, but that's usually what these types of things come down to. I would like to think that they could get this done before the start of the regular season. I don't love the idea of playing him on the 4th year of his rookie contract without a new deal. I don't think that's in anybody's best interest, team or Gonzo.
No.
So I think that would be problematic. Last point on this. I understand that he's had some injuries in this camp injury, and last year he missed 3 games to start the season. I would just push back slightly, and maybe I jumped down Paul's throat a little bit too much the other day about this, but I would just push back slightly on the injury-prone thing. So if you look at the last 2 seasons, the Patriots have played 38 games.
Yeah.
He's played 34 of them.
Right. He had he broke his collarbone, right?
So
Is
his
what it
rookie
was as a
season, he
rookie?
broke his collarbone. He got hurt his rookie season.
Yeah.
His second season in the league, he played 16 out of 17 games. The last game that he missed was the Joe Milton game. It was it was the Week 18 against Buffalo. Technically, he was in concussion protocol, but who knows if he would have cleared protocol?
I think they ended up putting him on IR.
If it's like a meaningful game, who knows, right? You never know what could happen if that was like a playoff type of game. So he played 16 out of 17 that year. Then he played 18 out of 21 last year. Yeah. And he played all the meaningful games. Like he played down the stretch, he played the playoffs, he played the Super Bowl. So he got hurt his rookie year. I'm not really going to haggle with him over the fact that he missed 4 games in 2 seasons. Like it's a contact sport. Guys get banged up, guys get hurt. He also didn't practice all last summer, and he was one of the best corners in football.
Right.
So I'm not really worried about any of that. Hopefully this gets resolved, though. And my guess is that it's over the guarantees and when, really over the payment schedule. Like when does the guarantee and where does the money actually kick in on the contract? But hopefully they can get this resolved. I don't think, though, just like I was just saying, to wrap it up, I don't think that it's a good idea for either side for him to play his 4th season on his rookie contract.
No.
The Patriots are not going to get the complete Christian Gonzalez. Christian Gonzalez, obviously, there's tons of risk for him. That's self-explanatory. But I also just think from a Patriots standpoint, like, you need peak Christian Gonzalez. Yeah. You don't need business decision Christian Gonzalez.
Yeah.
And I think the Jets saw that a little bit with Sauce Gardner. And frankly, I think that's why Sauce Gardner didn't make it as Jet. was because of some of that kind of stuff. So that's the Gonzalez thing. Hopefully the next time we're on this show, a week from today, we're talking about that he signed a contract.
Right.
So hopefully that gets done at some point. Do you want to do 3 up, 3 down?
Let's do it.
Okay, so we decided that we're going to do 3 up, 3 down for the last week of Patriots training camp. So the joint practice against the Colts, the preseason game, and then today's joint practice with the Eagles.
And are we doing this like versus expectations? Like Drake May's good, right? I don't need to put Drake May on the ups.
Drake May is good. AJ Brown is good.
Yeah.
Milton Williams is good. I don't need those types of players.
It's versus expectations. So I will start with the player who, is maybe in the same tax bracket as those guys. Yeah. And is maybe of similar name value, but I think deserves to be on here, and that is Romeo Doubs.
He's my number one.
I was getting worried. I was getting worried.
I was small C concerned.
Yeah, I think you're a little more than small C concerned. You were throwing some comps around that were a little worrying.
I didn't want to lead it on.
You didn't want
to be too strong.
In the text group, you were throwing some.
Yeah, you don't want to be too strong about it.
No, you don't want to be too long. Like there was still time for him to turn around. But you were kind of looking at what does the path look like if he doesn't.
I've learned my lesson about being alarmist on this show. I'm not going to do it again. All right.
But he started to turn the corner, and he had another good day today, and it's still not perfect. And the usage has changed, and I wonder the overall impact of the offense with him being less of an inside guy, or maybe the thought was, all right, let's get you going where you're kind of comfortable, and then we'll work back towards some of that other stuff. So not fully where I think they want him to be yet, but has made tremendous strides in the last week. So Romeo Doubs up.
Yeah, I even though he had maybe a drop, maybe miscommunication a little bit today in the 2-minute drill. The thing that stand out the most to me is the hands and the strength at the catch point. Just really plucks the ball out of the sky, away from his body. Really strong hands. He has the ability to go up and get the ball and climb the ladder too and win above the rim. There are going to be a lot of jump balls in this offense. Yeah. That's going to be a big part of this offense. I didn't think that Romeo Doubs quite had that kind of above the rim elevation, high point the ball type of game. But that's exactly what he has shown. I'm with you though. I think this is mostly a adjustment of usage as it is a Romeo Doubs figuring things out. I think it's a little bit of both, but I think I believe it's probably more about McDaniels and the coaching staff figuring him out than him figuring the offense out. I think his route tree has changed. Not significantly, but I think it's changed enough to make him more comfortable within the offense. It's going to be interesting to see, though, if he does eventually have to kick inside more and start to figure that out a little bit more. But as of right now, he's been really, really good. I had a small C concern. You're accusing me of saying some not nice things about him in a text chain.
Not nice.
That's what you're accusing me of, and I am wiping the slate clean.
You were starting to go down. You were exploring what would the worst case scenario look like. You didn't say that's where we were, but you were starting to think about what it would look like.
I am wiping the slate clean. I think that he's been really good for like a week plus now, and I am now excited about Romeo Dobbs.
Okay.
How about that?
So he was also your number one.
Yes. Wait, real 1 second, Matt. I'm logged out of the tablet again for the emails. If we can, go ahead.
Well, we're talking back there. Any chance I get another water guy? I'm
and another water for Barth.
Long day. Because I'm a baby.
Excuse me.
Because I'm like, I'm gonna break out coughing if a lot of talking today. Check out my videos.
What else? Fun. Do you need anything else, sir? Are you good over there?
My next
Jeez Louise.
My number 2 up. Thank you.
This guy.
Where were we? My number 2 up.
It's been a day.
It's been a day.
Look at you guys. Look at you guys waiting on
Thank
us.
you.
Thank you.
These guys are what make the show work. These guys are why, because producer Alex is back here too.
Yeah.
These guys will make the show go. Number 2 up, KJ Britt. Kind of disappeared over the first few weeks of camp.
We have a very similar list.
Got buried and came back, had a really good game in that preseason game. Saw him taking some reps with the ones out there today. Seeing that athleticism that I think we were excited about in the spring before he got a little banged up and missed minicamp. So, KJ Britt, up.
Yeah, I had him on my list too. Back-to-back plays in the preseason game, run tackle for loss, really.
Yeah.
Forced fumble, or he did the peanut punch and punched the ball out on a scramble. Nice play. And then I thought today he settled down the run defense a little bit when they were struggling early on against the Eagles in the practice. I thought Chad Muma had really emerged as the third linebacker and really had buried KJ Britt. Yeah. And with Khalil Jacobs making a little bit of a push, it's a rookie versus a veteran and a guy maybe you invested in long term in Khalil Jacobs. And I think we were all getting a little bit small C concerned that he wasn't even going to make the team.
Yeah.
KJ Britt. He needed a week like this. He needed a couple of big days of practice, a preseason game, that type of thing. He definitely brings a downhill thumping element to that group.
Yeah.
Spillane does a little bit too, but I think he does it a little bit more. We know he can play on special teams and make the roster that way. I think he's carving out a role for himself right now. I think he's on the inside track to earning a spot.
It looks like he's going to make team right now.
Yeah.
Number 3, here's where our list will change.
Yeah.
Bryce Beringer, he's been so good.
No one cares.
He's been so good and nobody will talk about it.
Well, you're talking about it.
Because somebody should. He's been excellent. Bryce Beringer, 3rd up.
Okay, so I had a couple honorable mentions. We talked a lot about John Saunders already.
I actually had John Saunders here, but I wanted to mention
he was
Beringer.
on my list, and we talked a lot about him already earlier in the show, so I'll skip that one. I do want to give a little bit of love to Kyle Williams. I know he didn't have a great practice today.
Yeah.
Wasn't very noticeable out there today, but he was really noticeable, and I thought in the joint practice with the Colts. He hit the big post down the middle of the field from Tommy DeVito in that practice. And then he had a really good tape against the preseason game against the Colts. So I think we saw a flash, we saw a skill set, we saw the speed, we saw the release package. It's, to me, on a team that maybe might be if there's one sort of deficiency of this offense is that they don't have enough pure speed on the outside. I think that there's too much of a skill set there with Kyle Williams to give up. I think you have to keep pushing with him. Wish he did a little bit more today for this take. But I think if we're doing the whole week, I think he deserves to be on the list or it deserves to be mentioned. They don't have a ton of explosiveness in this offense if he's not one of the guys that's involved.
I mean, it's him, it's Pop, it's Travion Henderson.
Yeah.
Those are kind of the guys you're looking at too, and AJ Brown.
Explosiveness is the wrong word because AJ Brown's an explosive
speed.
guy.
Just say speed.
Vertical speed down the field.
But
real speed.
Look, Kyle Williams is my guy, but
wasn't great.
Fast
today.
And
it's a good point.
Fast and.
But that was a pretty sweet touchdown he had in the preseason game last week. That was a great.
You know what? Fast and release.
Yeah, filthy.
Fast
release.
and elite, which is
really
if there's things to come after fast and. Release is probably one of the best ones that can come after that.
He probably has, and then we'll move on.
Yeah.
I think he has the best release package on the team. Like outside numbers, like
outside of AJ Brown.
I think he's got a better pure release package than AJ Brown. It's just a different kind of player.
AJ Brown's feet are unbelievable.
Yeah, but AJ Brown's he's bullying people off the line of scrimmage. Like I'm talking about we're gonna put this on the mixtape.
Speaking of bullying people, one more up from me.
Yep.
Hassan Haskins is going to make this team.
You love
He is
Hassan
going to be the third running back. Am I wrong?
I know.
He looks like third running back right now. 6'2", 225. This is my kind of running back. Oh, he doesn't really have any wiggle. He just runs through people. It's awesome. It's so much fun.
He had a run today where I was doing the like
little Chris Berman.
Yeah, because he was just popping off of guys. Like he was just bouncing off of dudes, like running through the middle of the field.
Hassan lower the shoulder Haskins, as they call him. He's so much fun to watch. And as a guy that, what's that role? Like, he's played special teams in his career, so you can do that.
Yeah.
But offensively, what's the role for the third running back?
Just get the yards that are there.
Just get the yards that are there. Don't turn the ball over and make the defense pay for tackling you. That's Hassan Haskins' entire game.
Yeah.
For better or worse, that's his entire game. I'm kind of surprised he was still unsigned. I don't know if he was dealing with an injury or whatever. I really liked him coming out of Michigan. Yeah. I remember getting all hot and bothered about the idea of him and Derrick Henry in the backfield. Obviously, it didn't fully pan out, but really good week for him.
So sometimes I would say it's a majority of the time a blessing. Sometimes it's a slight curse with Mike Vrabel.
Yeah.
He has his guys.
He loves his guys.
And Hassan Haskins was a 4th-round pick by the Titans under Mike Vrabel, and Stretch and Ryan Cowden, I believe, was still there at that time. I think it was 2022. So it was Vrabel's second to last
22,
season with the Titans.
I think that might have been Cowden's last year.
23 was Vrabel's last year as the Titans coach.
Cowden was in Tennessee. That was Cowden was the VP of player personnel.
I think he might have been running that draft with Mike Vrabel.
He was it says interim general manager. When did he become that?
I want to say then because they traded A.J. Brown.
No, December 2022.
So right around then. So he would have been the interim general manager.
Wasn't it the 22 draft?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're right.
Yeah, no.
You're
so
right.
he was the number 2.
Yeah. So it's one of their guys.
One of their guys. Yeah. Either way, one of their guys.
It's one of their guys, and sometimes you just have we all have it. You have your type. So
also a Michigan man.
All right. To the downs. Number 1 down.
Number 1 down for me. We already talked a lot about it, so I'll kind of just quickly here. But those depth corners, man.
Yeah, me too.
They're just look. I get it's not going to be as good as Gonzalez and Davis. Depth boundary corner specifically. I don't even know who their backup slot corner is. Marcus Jones has been out there working.
Probably Charles Woods.
Probably, but
Channing Canada tried, but
yeah, he got banged up today.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just you'd like to see a little more. And look, sometimes they're getting burned by A.J. Brown. I get it. I've seen that third corner role be more competitive.
Yeah.
I think last year with Alex Austin, it was more competitive.
Yeah.
So
I thought Charles Woods had a okay, like good enough start. He got whatever he dealt with. He got injured, and then since he got back from that injury and back into practice, I don't think he's been nearly as good as he was to start the summer.
Vildor's been getting a little bit better.
He's got some ball skills. He's like he's got ability to make plays on the ball.
Not totally like closing the book on this yet. Not full blown. There's nothing they can do. But yeah, I don't feel great about it.
With 2 guys, Gonzalez and Davis, and even Marcus Jones that have had some injuries and get a little bit banged up. It's both number 1 on both of our lists.
Yeah.
Number 2.
Number 2. I know this is a little bit of a controversial take. I caught some heat for this yesterday on the Sports Hub, but it's Caleb Lomu.
Yeah.
I
almost put him on here, but I kind of knew you would.
So I'm not calling him a bust. And
no one's calling him a bust.
This isn't saying he's never going to work out, but I think they expect him to be further along at this point. And Mike Vrabel gave an answer the other day, and I'm curious your interpretation of it. So earlier in camp, he was asked about Lomu playing guard and said, yeah, we're probably going to do that at some point.
Yep.
This was 3 weeks ago now. And then they have the injuries at guard. They bring in these guys, and he gets asked again, are you still going to do that? And I'm paraphrasing, but Vrabel's answer was along the lines of, he's making progress at tackle. We don't want to screw with that. It's unfair to the kid. It's... Some people think it's easier. I think he even said he was somebody who thought it's easier maybe to go between guard and tackle than everybody expects. I kind of interpreted that as, well, no, he's still not developed as a tackle yet. And that's where we really need him to develop. So we can't move him to guard. But it does sound like, and they said at draft night, part of their plan might have been to have him be in the mix at guard, at least as an emergency basis.
At least a 3-position super sub.
Right.
Type of thing.
So I don't know. He's a little bit... we said it earlier. You still see the flashes of him being a first-round pick, but you also see the moments where he's clearly still learning a new position and catching up to the NFL. He's a guy that needs a red shirt. He's probably going to get it. I think they thought he might be a little further along and might be able to help some of these depth issues they're having. And clearly he's not there because we're not seeing him rep at guard.
So I agree. I thought his tape against the Colts was rough for the most part. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't a disaster, but I didn't think it was great. And I thought today, I read off some of the plays that he was involved in today. Yeah. It was streaky again. When they drafted him, just going back to our priors about when they drafted him, there was 2 reasons why I didn't love the pick, and this is in real time. It's not revisionist history. The first one was that he was a left tackle in college that was going to have to play right in the league.
Yeah,
and I am one of those people that don't think that it's super easy to just flip sides. Some guys do it no problem, but some guys don't, and that was one of my concerns. The other concern that I kept hearing throughout the entire pre-draft process from people that vet these things even better than we do is that he just doesn't have a real mean streak.
Yeah.
And I thought what I saw on the tape against the Colts is that he's on the block and he's in position to make the block, but there's just a little bit of something that leaves you wanting more. You know, like you want him to like assert his dominance. You want him to take a guy and put him into the ground. Edge. You want to see a little bit of an edge. Yeah. And that's the one thing that I don't necessarily see yet with him. Maybe that will come in time with more comfortability and like once he really starts to get his feet wet and settled in the NFL level. But it's something that his college coaches admitted was something that they tried to get out of him for 3 years at Utah. Right. So I thought he was going to be a little bit of a project because he's got some physical development to do in terms of hitting the weight room and adding mass to his frame. He is most likely going to be flipping sides. And the way that Campbell's played all summer long, I think we feel pretty good about him having to flip sides because I think Campbell's going to be at left tackle. And then the last thing is that some guys, you know, if they don't bite when they're puppies, then they won't bite when they're dogs. That's what Bill Parcells used to say. And I think that you need to have a little bit of that bite to be great at that position. I think you can be really good on the offensive line without it, but to be like a great player, I think you need to be a little bit of an a-hole on the offensive line. It just comes with it. So I think that can develop. I think that Will Campbell is a nice guy to kind of develop that out of him because Will Campbell definitely has that.
And I think on the other side, too, Gabe Akis is a guy that will help him get there.
Last thing I would say on Lomu, I feel as though, you know, he's not necessarily behind where I thought he was going to be because we do have to adjust. And I know we've talked about this. He was the 28th pick, not the 4th pick.
Right. Those guys don't always play year one.
So we are so used to Drake May as the 3rd overall pick.
Yeah.
Will Campbell as the 4th overall pick.
Even Gonzalez at 17 was such he was a top 10 talent.
Yeah, right. And he fell in the draft for ridiculous reasons. So it was 3 years in a row of the Patriots' first round pick being like a blue chip premium talent at the position that was immediately a starter. And we have to realize that they picked at the end of the first round. They picked the last tackle that went in the first round. It wasn't going to be this guy's a plug-and-play player, most likely, and here we are. So that was number 2 for you, was Caleb Lomu. I'll stick on the offensive line. We already talked about it a little bit, but the interior backups on the offensive line, they needed Greg Van Roten. Roten. They got him. I'm less concerned about it now. But James Hudson, Mekhi Butler, whoever you want to throw in that category, I no disrespect intended whatsoever, but those guys I don't know if they can play guard in a regular season game. Van Roten, I think I feel a little bit better about, but today's practice was rough again for those interior guys. James Hudson, I think that they like a little bit because of his versatility, and he's got some athleticism, he's got some tools, but I just haven't seen it at guard. I think it happens too quickly for him at guard, and I don't think he has the power inside there. So hopefully Van Roten is the cure here because we don't know when Ben Brown's going to come back, and I don't think Ben Brown was gangbusters either, frankly. Especially at guard.
Yeah.
At center, he was fine.
He's fine at center, yeah. He's not quite the same player at guard. I would agree with that. No, Van Roten's going to make the team. Like, he's here to be the backup guard. He's here to replace Andrew Rupsich.
I hope so. Last one.
I'll stick with the offense, defense, special teams. Oh, no, I think I did No, offense, defense, special teams. It was a bad week for Andy Borregales. Again, I don't think he's toast. I don't think they should cut him. But let's call a spade a spade. It's whatever the reverse of credit where credit's due is. Andy Borregales had a bad week. And, maybe he started to bounce back, but he has to bounce back. He had a bad week.
Andy Borregales. Got to put it. You got to have it. You go 2 for 5 in a preseason game, we got to talk about it. Like, it just is what it is, especially in a day and age when guys are, like Vrabel said, banging them through 60 yards. Like, these kickers have, like, unlimited range, it feels like now. It also was low stakes. It was a preseason game. Perfect weather. No conditions, no wind, beautiful night out. That is about as easy as it gets in the NFL for a kicker. So he needs to be better. He probably knows that. Hopefully a lot of it was the long snapper and Julian Ashby's back, and that will settle things down a little bit as well too. But it's on the list. It's on the list.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to some emails for the last 20 minutes here. We got some emails here from the people some more. This is from Anthony in Seattle, who I think was also here at practice today. I'm pretty sure female Alex, was able to say hello to Anthony, so hopefully we got him a T-shirt or something. And Patty and Agawam just made me look like an a-hole, so thanks, Patty. I appreciate that. But this is some love for you, Alex. I just want to take a second to highlight Barth and all that he does, because both of us are great. But every time I hear Barth, I can tell he just cares so much about the team and the fans, and I do always look forward to hearing his Behringer hang times. So he's a Barth stan, so he appreciate
that. Thank you. Thank you very much.
That's we pick on you a lot, so I thought I'd read a nice email for you.
Thank you.
This is one that is not as nice to you though.
Oh boy,
but it's more in tongue in cheek, so don't worry. So were you on with Zoe? You did your little your camp cast. What do you guys call it? We call it the camp cast.
Training camp report, practice report. Is it making? I look so short sitting next to him. Is it about that?
No, it's not.
Oh, okay.
But I have a funny Zoe story, so I'm gonna.
But if you want to go check it out, I mean, I do look. I sit up like on the edge of the seat
just to try
to. Folding
I mean,
chairs,
he's like he's a monster. Like, it's not. Just
I
you.
know, but it's. I got to sit next to him. I got to sit next to Taylor Kyles. Like, Brian Hines is not short.
Yeah, Taylor's
it was much
a tall
easier when
guy,
me and you were on the air together. Taller. It was taller. It was nice.
Jews. So this one's from Darius in Louisville. You're allowed to swear on this.
Yes.
This show, right?
Is he mad I'm not swearing enough?
So he said that you said good effing stuff.
Yeah.
He wanted you to say good effing crap.
Oh, yeah, I guess I could have.
Yeah, because you went with the effing part, but you didn't finish it.
You got to keep them on their toes.
Yeah, you didn't finish it there.
Right.
So
it was good stuff for me and Zoe. Go check it out. It's on the Sports Hub YouTube page. Go check it out in 18 minutes.
Really quick, funny Zoe story.
Yeah.
I just saw Zoe. I think he's here doing some all access or maybe for the preseason game, like prep. And he's walking through the tunnel, and there's pizzas out in the tunnel. These pizzas have probably been sitting there for days. I'm not even kidding. And I see Zoe just dogging a slice of pizza from these pizzas. And I said to him, don't worry, because I don't know whose pizza that is.
Right.
Like, we're not, this isn't a free for all here where you can just eat anything that you see.
Yeah.
And I said, don't worry, like, I won't tell anybody. And he looks at me and he goes, how long do you think this has been sitting here? And I just said, too long, Zoe. Like, you were definitely eating like day old pizza. He looks good though. Yeah, I am surprised he was eating pizza, but yeah, it was funny because I was like, I think that pizza, I saw that pizza out there yesterday, and Zoe is still eating it. This is from Abreu, I think it is. I don't know if that's his first name or last name. I apologize. Was the practice Drake May had today on the same level of Mac Jones's practice against the Giants? I think this was also a little tongue-in-cheek.
Well,
but
yeah, it's different. It's Mac Jones won the starting job that day. We hadn't seen Mac Jones do that. Drake May's played in a Super Bowl. Once you play in a Super Bowl, you don't really have the Giants practice. I see you working on a swing back there. It's a swing, a chip or putt. I think you had the putter going.
Oh, God.
I haven't played in weeks, dude. It's killing me.
That was a putt.
Well, was it? I think this was that was a different. That was like the anointing of Mac Jones,
right?
That this is obviously we don't need Drake. He doesn't need to be anointed.
Right.
He's already
he had
been
one of those
anointed.
practices last year. I don't remember what it was, but he had one of those practices last year.
I would say that this was a really good practice. I thought Monday was better, but Monday was Patriots on Patriots. So,
right.
But this was a good one as well. But I like that our listeners can harken back to the Mac Jones.
I mean,
Giants practice.
where were you moments in Patriots history?
I was still I was still working for Clintus at that point.
The tuck rule.
Tuck rule.
28-3, the butt fumble.
Quinn Nordine.
Brady to Moss, no 7. Quinn Nordine going 10 for 10 in the in-stadium practice. And Mac Jones against the Giants when Cam Newton was in COVID protocol. Every Patriots fan remembers where they were when Mac Jones tore up. Were the Giants even good that year? I don't think so.
No, they weren't. Mac
Jones tore him a new one in that practice.
It was one of the flame out Daniel Jones years, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It was great. The Quinn Nordine in stadium practice is still peak training camp.
That was what a night. I still remember exactly where I was.
I think he even got a smile out of Bill. I think Bill Belichick practiced smile.
He was 9-9, and we had to get down here to do the interview. So we come down the field, and I'm typing out my tweet, and I say to Tom Curran, "Wow, he's 9-9, huh?" And Curran looks at me and goes, "He just hit another one." Chills. Wow. 10 out of 10. What a moment.
And they were like icing him, and guys were in his face, and he was just drilling kicks.
Just could not be denied.
It was just unconscious.
Did he ever play an NFL game?
I don't think so. So this is from Texas, or driving across Texas. Is Antonio Gibson still a free agent?
No, I think I saw he signed somewhere.
He had the ACL.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's back. I don't know if he's healthy enough to sign.
No, he is. He's unsigned.
So yeah, he was just asking. They've been obviously thinned out with depth a little bit at running back. My guess is he's not healthy yet.
Yeah, I think I remember hearing. I might be making this up. I thought I remembered a report that it was like a particularly bad ACL tear, so he might still be working his way back. If he's healthy, I'd take him back. I've always thought he was a good player. We'll give him the kick returner they need too.
Yeah,
obviously a very good kick returner. Now, assuming he can still cut the same way, but
yeah,
I mean, I would not be opposed to bringing Antonio Gibson back.
This is from Akos from Hungary. So that's cool. How do you feel about the depth of the team, especially linebacker and secondary? We have a deep wide receiver room, but other than that, I'm not so confident. So I would say to answer this email, I concur with some of the positions he named. Linebacker, I would say cornerback specifically in terms of secondary depth. However, I think we are in a world now where we have to acknowledge that our concerns are the fourth corner, the backup guard, and if they have enough run stuffers on the defensive line.
Yeah, I mean, I said this at the beginning of the summer. We used to talk about things being a problem in the context of this is going to prevent them from winning any game. Not any games, but this is going to be a problem week in and week out. There's going to be someday. Now it's in the context of, when you get to the AFC Championship, you could run into this.
Yes. That's 100% true.
This is margin stuff. They got to be better on the margins.
The reaction to Greg Van Roten signing says it all. We are back in the world where thank God we got the backup guard we needed. That's where we're at. So it's a good problem to have.
It takes me back.
It does.
This is getting hyped about Greg Van Roten is such 2012 to 2018 Patriots fan behavior.
I loved it. The guard, the backup guard.
And a guy you're highlighting. He started. He's a veteran. He's savvy. You know why he's here, Evan? You know why he's here?
Why is he here?
He wants a ring. Back in the we used to talk
ring
about
chasing.
Yeah, these guys are going to come here because they want a ring. They're not going to go for the most money. They're not going to go for the playing time. They come to New England because they want to win a championship.
Oh, I love it. This is a bunch of questions here from Paul in Germany. A lot of
hang on real quick
from across.
I usually don't do this. Look at this helmet Boise State just announced. How sick is that?
You're sick. You're a sicko. You know that?
I'm so excited.
You're an absolute.
You know
sicko.
what we get to do?
When's the dumbest week of the football calendar?
Don't do that.
Week 0. It's just week 1. Just
I think
call
Boise State's playing week 0.
Just call it.
But there's
week
only
1.
8 teams playing.
It's still week 1. Just
I
call
think
it week 1.
there's I forget who. There's a school that's pushing to play before week 0.
It is the first week of the college football.
Not really
season.
though. There's one game on at a time. You know what we're doing in 3 days that I will then be doing until January?
What?
Watching football on a Saturday.
Is there football on this Saturday? Oh, the preseason game.
Yeah.
I don't really count that.
All right. Well.
Yeah, no.
Oh, we're so close. I was setting up my fantasy college football league, which you're going to be in.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you said you would. I
did not say that.
You said you would.
I did not say that.
Please lambast Evan on Twitter and tell him he's no fun if he doesn't join my fantasy college football league.
I'm already in 2 fantasy football
this will be different.
leagues.
I haven't played fantasy football in 10 years, short of the punter league.
and this is I just was talking about how we have first world problems with the backup guard being the big concern. This is a big first world problem. But to be honest with you, like, it's hard for me to keep up with fantasy because we're so busy on Sundays. So like, I don't really like my lineup sometimes. Like, Jess is texting me at like 12:50 being like, you have somebody who's on bye who's playing, and I'm like in Seattle or something like that, and I'm like, oh god.
That's why I don't play fantasy football anymore.
Yeah.
But that's what fantasy college football. It's Saturday.
I know it sounds like woe is me, but it's true.
So like fantasy college football, you don't have to worry about that.
I'm not sitting.
You're in the league.
I do miss sometimes that sitting on my couch and watching football all day without having to move.
We'll get more of those this year. They've got a Wednesday, 2 Thursdays, a Monday.
That's true. The opening week of the season, we will be able to watch the first Sunday because the Patriots won't be playing.
I just join the league, though.
I'll think about it.
Yes, you're joining the league.
I'll ask one of Paul's questions. Paul from Germany has like 7 questions on this email.
We can rapid fire real quick.
Some of them are kind of not rapid fire. Is Mike Onwenu extended? He's in a contract here.
I don't think so.
Me neither.
I think this is last year here. Especially, who was the guard that just re-signed and got crazy money? Somebody just like near reset the market.
This is ringing a bell, but I don't remember who it was.
Was Tevin? No, that was in March.
I don't remember.
Skoronski. Skoronski got 4 years, $100 million.
I wonder long term. They want to build an athletic line. They want Lomus and Campbells and Wilsons and Vera Tuckers and like athletic, those zone blocking type of players. It's not a great fit. So even if they like Onwenu personally, professionally, to pay him starting guard money for a guy that they don't really see as a great scheme fit, I'm not sure I'm sold. This is an interesting one, though, that I think is actually maybe more likely than we initially thought. If you asked me this like before training camp started, Demario Douglas contract extension.
Yeah, maybe. Let's see what happens with Kayshon Boutte first.
Yeah,
they're not super related, but just in terms of like how many receivers do you have on the books next year? How many are expiring? Like, yeah, I could see them extending Pot. You know, he's going to be we talked about this earlier in the show. He's going to be in a more significant role this year. So see how he does in that and then pay him. Unless they're very confident, then pay him now before he puts up a ton of production. But I'm not ruling out them extending Pop Douglas.
It's not like they don't have to do this, but I just wonder if you go to Pop Douglas now and you offer him an extension that probably in the long run is pretty team friendly, but it's a player that has had a little bit of, hasn't had crazy production in the league, but you're going to pay him like a kind of like a third receiver type of money. He might take that just as a, guy that doesn't really necessarily have a ton of production yet in the league.
Yeah.
He might just take the money. I wouldn't be surprised. So they might be able to get him on like one of those old Belichick contracts that is like a really team-friendly contract and lock him in here long term. Let's take this call from Evan, and then we're going to wrap it up. What's up, Evan? How we doing?
I'm good. Evan, I was hoping you were going to take my Mac Hollins joke. I thought I was going to get some big laughs last week, but it just didn't happen.
I knew it was a joke, and I did a bad job of making that clear. So I apologize for that.
No, I think I just thought I was funnier than I was. It's okay. But I have a comment and a question. So the comment, Evan, I do think you're being a little too dismissive of the Jets and the Dolphins. I think we're going to win those games, but it's just giving me bad vibes every time you're like, oh, just chalk it up as 4 wins. Devon Achane, Malik Willis run game could be sneaky great. They have an awesome O-line too. But that's just all I'm saying. Maybe let's just, not too confident. But the question is, this maybe is a next off-season question, but I just feel like Marcus Jones, position where he's an amazing slot corner, but the position where it feels like he's really going to flourish is in free safety. Just getting him in space, letting his ball skills just out there and getting him away from the line of scrimmage. I feel like, and I remember you saying that Jonathan Jones, the back half of his career, he kind of moved towards safety, and that just feels like where we're going to get the most longevity out of him. Just want to know your thoughts on that. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Evan. Marcus Jones is an interesting one because I think we all thought this time last year that it wasn't really a fit for what Vrabel wanted, and then he's just such a good player that he just kind of punched through that and was just like, no, like I'm too good for you to just move on. So I think that there was a alternate universe where Marcus Jones was in the same category as Kyle Duggar and Jabril Peppers. Like that universe existed in some other plane of football world, right? Where like it just wasn't a fit, system fit, scheme fit, and Marcus Jones just proved them wrong, or just broke through that. I think that the nickel safety thing kind of blurs lines at times, I would say. So maybe it's a little bit semantics, but I think that the way that they rotate the back end a lot of the times, he kind of ends up in safety spots sometimes. Yeah. I don't know if he's like a pure free safety, like Devin McCourty, Kevin Byard free safety, but maybe that's it. On the Jets and the Dolphins, I'm going to remain dismissive. I think the Dolphins have one of the worst rosters in football.
Yeah, I mean, at Miami, there's always a little bit of a boogeyman thing that comes with that. But short of that, I mean, that Dolphins team's bad.
I think the Jets have a better chance of being frisky just because they have
a better defense.
I think they have a better defense and better roster talent that they've built up a little bit, although Omar Cooper Jr. apparently is not having a great camp with the Jets. But in general, David Bailey, Kenyon Sadiq, like they have some talent, young talent on that team. Garrett Wilson's obviously still there. Breece Hall. But the Dolphins, I think, are a bottom 5 roster in football. And that should be 2 wins. Now, the game in Miami, I agree. There's always wonky stuff that happens in Miami. It's a house of horrors at times. But I think they should win both those games. Maybe the Jets are a little bit more frisky.
Yeah.
We'll see. Although I think they play the Jets late, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Yeah, it's Christmas.
I think there's a solid chance the Jets have nothing to play for and are way out of it.
Ramping it down.
At that point. So we'll see. But in my mind, I would say they should go 4-0 against the Jets and the Dolphins. Anything worse than 3-1 against the Jets and the Dolphins to me is a failure. Like you can't be losing games like that to those teams. That Dolphins team is that. Do you see those skill positions where they're going from Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle to what they have now at wide receiver is a tough blow. Like they're totally resetting.
Did just activate Chris Bell though.
They did just activate.
So we'll see what he can do. We both liked him in the draft. So
yeah, they're hard resetting that team right now. So we'll see with that. Maybe the Jets will be a little bit more frisky. Maybe. We'll see. I'm not that optimistic about that either. Also, just quickly, like, do we believe in Aaron Glenn? Because Aaron Glenn's still the coach of the Jets, and I thought Aaron Glenn was like teetering on one and done. Like he was teetering on Gerard Mayo status, and
I picked him yesterday on Felger to be the first coach fired. So
it's fair.
Sneaky. My sleeper pick for that was Zach Taylor.
You know how I feel about Zach Taylor. I've been saying for a while now that Zach Taylor.
Yeah.
You give any coach Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins, and they're going to have a good offense. All right, we're going to wrap it up for today. Next week, Ace, is a little bit wonky with times because I'm going to be traveling to Cleveland on Wednesday during our normal show time.
Did we figure this out yet?
So I think Tuesday is the day that we're going to have to do it, and I think we're going to have to do it Tuesday morning before Patriots Unfiltered. So like kind of our regular season time slot.
Well, but they have a late practice on Tuesday.
They do have a late practice, but the practice is at like 2-ish, and Unfiltered's 12 to 2.
Okay.
So I think we're going to have to go 10 to noon.
Okay.
Before Unfiltered on Tuesday. But we'll keep you updated on our socials and everything on that. I'm going to the preseason game. First road trip. Looking forward to it. So that'll be good. Not really looking forward to it.
No, you're not gonna.
Cleveland preseason game is kind of tough.
For the food, nothing like that.
But we're gonna go. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna have a good time. We're gonna make some friends along the way. So we'll be back next week on Catch-22 at some point on Tuesday. I would say probably 10 to noon. Like I said, we'll keep you updated on socials and all that good stuff. And you can obviously get the show on demand on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever. Until then, we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Hey, this is Deuce. Thanks for tuning into the show. If you really want to help us, make sure you like us wherever you get your podcasts, like Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Also, make sure you follow us on the New England Patriots YouTube channel to see this show and everything else that we do here at the Patriots. Thanks a lot.